go. Alright, so you guys have kind of come back to this main chamber here. The door is still open behind you, where the Yuan-Tia fled. The temple is very much falling apart. It's getting louder and louder, and the quakes are getting more and more frequent. That are kind of shaking everything and causing rocks and sand and debris to fall in. Sarah, you are standing in front of a waterfall of sand. What are you doing?
Alright, so let's read this again.
Do you want me to paste that in for you again?
I've got it in my notes right here.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put it in there too, just so that Ben and Fox can see it.
Alright, well it says, ask in humility and passage you seek, so I guess just humbly ask to, go see Sec, that we seek an audience with Sec.
You see a face appear in the sand, like as if a face was sticking out through it, and it's kind of, the sand is just falling over it, like a silhouette almost of it. And it says, "Who speaks it?"
I couldn't understand what that said.
He said, "Who seeks entry?"
Um,
Try this one. Go ahead.
Serafina?
And tell me if you can understand this one. He says, "Why?"
Let's say why?
Yeah. Are both of those too distorted to be able to understand it?
The second one was a little bit easier, but it was really high-pitched.
I don't have it, because the thing is I can't hear it back to myself, so I can't tell how it sounds. How about this one? It should just sound like a megaphone or an echo.
A little better,
That
yeah.
one's a lot better.
Okay. Alright. Go ahead.
Why? Oh, God. We seek his wisdom?
You are not his petitioner.
Oh my God. We wish to be?
Make a persuasion check.
Out of game, were any of the magical items we picked up supposed to be his? Is there anything, that might be like, oh, look what we have, kind of thing?
Not sex, it's Masetsu
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it was Masetsu stuff, yeah, I guess, okay.
Yeah, I would say that Norak wouldn't know the answer to that anyways, partially because, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. That's fine.
Yeah, well, I just knew I found stuff in there, but I have no idea who supposedly claimed it in the past. So.
Yeah. He didn't respond to the "we want to be."
Anybody else want to try?
I've been thinking over and I haven't figured out what it is.
Well, this place isn't going to last a whole lot longer, so somebody better figure it out before too long, because this temple is going to fall around your ears. I just realized that column that I put out, it didn't line up quite right, and it's annoying me. I'm staring at this map, and it's not perfectly centered. It's irritating me.
We seek entrance to become his faithful servants?
You already tried that, and your persuasion roll was, let's say, not as convincing as it would have been needed. I would say, you know what? Make an Arcana check on Sarah's again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You're not getting, it's tough to get a read on this. You're not really getting enough response from this sand thing to get an idea of what it might want or anything else.
Can I do a religion check? Just to see what I know about Sec?
You've kind of tried that before. Go ahead. I would say that you've spent enough time wandering through the desert, maybe to try to
Oh,
jog
yeah.
your memory. Okay. So, one, you're not talking to Sec. So you do know enough that he was always represented as a giant serpent with a big hood, like a cobra, like a big wide hood, like gargantuan, like building sized, not world crushing size. He's still the ascended. He was an ascended. You know that. Ascended are powerful and certainly semi-deities in a sense that they are certainly extremely powerful and can wipe out vast swaths of lesser creatures, certainly, but they're not unkillable. In fact, many have been killed, including Sec. So, I mean, you do know that, but this thing here, this representation, is not at all. It doesn't look like him, doesn't sound like you would have expected it to, based on, again, what information you do have, and doesn't... you feel like if you were in the presence of Sec, you'd probably feel fear or something, or some kind of awe, maybe, something, and this just seems like it's not. This isn't him you're talking to, you're pretty sure of that.
Okay. Anybody else want to try? While I try to think about what I'm gonna do next.
Why are we, again, I forgot, the point of the mission, why did the Seerdoman woman send us here again? Sorry, I forget easily.
So, you were, make a memory check on Nora. You know what, I would say that you just know this. You were sent here specifically because Ozzy, who is in the background, as far as you guys are aware, is friends with Mighty, or at least they both belong to a shared organization of some kind. And they knew that since you had come out of there and told Ozzy about Misetsu not being in his tomb anymore, this is where they thought that he may have gone, along with a couple of others anyways, but this is the nearest place that they think he may have gone, and sent you here to investigate basically if he was here, or to find out, basically to find out what happened, or at least get as much information as you can.
Okay.
But when you got here, you found that there was, at least as far as you've heard so far, not a 1,200-year-old dead king, but instead a woman, apparently alive, who took control over some local Yuan-Ti, used them to capture some humans that she's been killing in here. You don't know why or for what purpose, or you don't know what she's using them for, but she's been bringing them down, they scream, they don't come back out.
Okay. Then I will try saying that, are you aware that your temple is being disgraced by a human who is committing sacrifices in there? Are you aware of that?
Make, I guess, a persuasion check. That's probably the closest, I guess, for what you're trying to convey, rather.
Tell her that it may not be to her, or tell the creature that it may not be to its god, whatever the sacrifices are for.
Oh, yeah, you have disadvantage on that, by the way. So, because
Yeah.
you're exhausted. So you're just, your adrenaline is burning out, all the lactic acid buildup and everything, and you're just not quite focused on talking to Sand at the moment. You say that, and it doesn't reply. It doesn't respond to you. You'll also have disadvantage for this, of course, because of the exhaustion, but make a, I guess, intelligence check. Not Norak's strongest suit, sure, but just a flat intelligence. Sarah, go ahead and make one on Arteme as well, actually. Intelligence on both.
Okay.
Actually, because you're proficient, Arteme, you're proficient in nature, aren't you?
In which nature? Yeah.
Go ahead and make a nature check just for you. Norak is not proficient in nature, right? No, he's not. Damn, only athletics, intimidation, and survival, that's it. Survival's useful, though, especially for camping.
Well, yeah, I have survival and nature.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, you're not getting much from this. I would say that amongst the three of you, you feel like this is not an intelligent creature that you're speaking to. It's not a creature at all. It feels, you don't feel like you're talking to something that's alive. You feel like you're talking to a door. a slightly more intelligent door. Reasoning with it may not work, is the impression you're getting. I just realized that my water bottle sounds like a bong or something. What was that? Can you hear that? When I'm drinking my water, does it sound like that?
A little bit.
Yeah, it sounded like it to me. Anyways. Sorry, so what were you saying, Becky?
I was asking Norak if he wanted to try intimidating it.
That might have less impact. I mean, even the persuasion checks are a bit of a stretch, but, you know, if you rolled really high, I was going to consider, you know, how you might get information out of it, or, you know, or the response from it, or lack thereof. It was a hectic situation. All three of you make memory checks as well. You already had a pretty, like, you were pretty much told already how to get through this. But it happened in the heat of the moment, so whether you guys remember or not, you guys all rolled really shitty. This is going to be a bad start. This could be a total party wipe here. Total party kill here shortly. Sarah, just barely. You were kind of standing in the hallway to the side, letting Sokash run past you when he told Norak that you needed to get him to say it.
Oh. Can I ask it a question?
You can do whatever you want.
Can I ask him who lies below?
He responds, the Great Serpent of Ob.
Who
Did you
is the
understand
great?
that?
Great Serpent of Autumn?
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm just gonna ask him what's the name of the Great Serpent of Autumn? You said it's not intelligent.
Yeah, he says, Beck, and this hand stops.
Yes.
It stops falling, and you can see down this hallway. You see stairs going down. Oh, I guess you gotta go on the master mode. Probably good that we had the week off. You would have probably gotten that like first thing if you had just come straight in here after, you know, at the end of last week. So the sand stops falling, and you see this kind of landing at the top of some stairs. Harold, move. Stupid dog. At the top of these stairs here that leads to this kind of long staircase leading down that is already half filled with rubble. It is very rapidly filling with more and more sand. In fact, I'll go ahead and reveal the next part down here. But it goes down for a long, long ways, far longer than this. Actually, I didn't draw this map to scale for this portion of it, just because the map would be, you know, much taller that way. But basically, you see. Oh, sorry.
Which
Let me share
map?
that back too. Yeah, I forgot you guys were. There you go. Should pop up for you. Harold, get down. Oh, they probably need to go outside, actually. The dog's out in here in a minute. Hang on, pup. So basically, you see this long staircase that is filled. Well, you wouldn't even recognize it as stairs. It almost just looks like a slope because of how much sand is already filling it up. But this just leads far, far to, you know, probably 100 feet, 200 feet maybe, down this long hallway that leads down towards presumably this ritual chamber. You know, as far as most temples would have. But it's filled, like I said, nearly halfway to the ceiling. In places, just sand and rock all over. The tremors down here are much, much stronger as soon as you kind of make your way down this. Are you guys heading down this way?
Before we do that, I'm gonna use False Life.
Okay. Mark off your spell slot and everything. Are you guys doing anything else? Because you guys are pretty beat up. So, headset off for a second, let the dogs out, and you guys forget what you're doing, as far as if you're going to try to do anything about your hurts.
Yeah, you need the ill lips. What did you use for your inspiration things? Did you use that thing where you can use air dice?
Yeah.
She already
might wanna
used it
use
to
that.
dash that. Oh wait, we already got inspiration.
Yeah,
Nice.
just adding that.
Sorry, what was that? What are you guys doing?
Yeah. I've got the rejuvenating for the inspiration, so.
You gonna use that?
Oh no, I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
Because I just got 8 temporary hit points, so. But.
Yeah, but you're still down. You only had 6 HPs left. You realize that, right?
Oh, no? What?
You took
did
13
that
points
happen?
of damage. You only have 6. Yeah, like all 3 of you are pretty beat up. Like you're the worst off.
Oh my god. Alright, if I use that healing potion, it's not going to affect the temporary hit dice, right?
Correct. Yeah, it'll heal your regular HPs. You'll still have your temp HPs on top of it.
Alright,
I
I'm
think you
just going
each
to use
had,
it.
if I remember right, you each had 1 potion left, and then Sarah has that ring, and then whatever healing spells or whatever you might have.
I'm going to
That
use
was also part of the reason that I mentioned that prod, because you guys were in really rough shape and heading into a dangerous fight. So, yeah, you rolled really well.
Oh, was I supposed to have used that on myself because it didn't give it to me?
You didn't have yourself targeted. I'll drop it on there for you.
No.
Wait, did that work on me?
Yes, you're down to only 4 HPs lost so far. That one was targeted itself already. So, was that from you used the recovery from your
I used
inspiration?
the
Is that what it
HD. No, I used the HD.
was? Well, those you can only use when you're taking a short rest.
Oh,
an
okay,
hour.
never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you took the recovery one, you can use that. If you wanted to use your inspiration to do that now, you just wouldn't have it in the fight anymore. Which, I mean, it would take an action during the fight anyways. Yeah, you do have recovering.
Yeah, I do have recovery.
That's an expended spell slot. That's not for healing, so that one won't work. You could use a heal spell and then get it back using recovering if you wanted to.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Do that? Okay. That was 5. So we'll go ahead and we'll just leave it then. Actually, hang on. Pick which spell you're going to use, and we'll re-roll
Healing Spirit, because it'll heal all of it.
it. You cheater.
What? It's a spell!
No, it's fair. It's totally fair. It's 100% fair. It's just that's a really overpowered healing spell. Anyways, go ahead and do me a favor, Fox. Read that to them real quick. I'll let the dogs in.
Okay, so basically you call forth a nature spirit to soothe the wounded. The intangible spirit appears in a space that is a 5-foot cube you can see within range. The spirit looks like a chain spirit, beast, or fae. Until the spell ends, whenever you or a creature you can see moves into the spirit's space for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, you can cause the spirit to restore 1d6 hit points that no action required. The spirit can't heal constructs or undead. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the spirit up to 30 feet to a space you can see. So I could bring it with.
Yeah,
How
it's
long does it
concentration
last?
up to a minute.
Okay.
So go ahead and put up the concentration for it as well. I mean, if you guys are even standing here for a matter of a few seconds, it would end up healing you all the way. Becky, you used that potion, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Go ahead and put that potion back, and we'll just retcon it that Arteme chose to use Healing Spirit before, so that you still have the potion. Sound good?
Oh. Yeah, and I'm going to use 2 sorcery points and get one of my first level spell slots back.
Okay. Yeah, mark off the spell points, or the sorcery points. And then, Fox, you used a level 2 spell slot to cast that, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and mark off your recovery, or mark off your inspiration, rather. You presume, unless you can save it, you don't have to. You can just, have lost that second spell slot for now if you want to.
Actually, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I use the inspiration if I need it later.
Sure. Let me put a token on here for you for the Healing Spirit. Because its location, it definitely matters. I don't have a good token for it. It'll be this one. It looks like a hammer. This healing, it's a spiritual weapon. It's a cleric spell. I'll get you a good token for that for later. I might have a ghost or something. That's fine. So if you guys basically, each of you roll 3d6, and we'll count that as the heals that you spend within range of it for 18 seconds before you guys make your way down here. If it doesn't max, we'll count it. Yeah, that's definitely enough to heal you guys up. Even Norok. Oops, I went the wrong way.
I got hurt, man.
Yeah, I hurt you with it instead.
That spirit doesn't like me.
Yeah. Did you put your potion back on, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then you guys are healed up with Sarah's use. Again, you still have your recovery or your inspiration if you need it, Fox. So you guys have healed up this kind of floating glowing orb nearby you that you hang out nearby, and it heals you. But you do see this tunnel ahead of you, and if you are making your way down it anyways, you see before the end, before it opens out into the chamber, you see that it drops off, and there's sand just pouring over the edge into this pit, basically, before it opens out into the room. So, yeah, the pit... Actually, I'll go ahead and I'll draw a square on here where it is. Here's a pit about... well, I can't get it exactly the size that it needs to be, but it's about like that. There. But it's not actually 15 feet. But you come up near the edge. Make survival checks, actually, probably just Sarah, because you're closest to it. And it's a narrow hallway, so you can't see all the way down.
Oh man, I suck at survival.
Another natural one.
Oh my god! I'm gonna...
It looks like a deep pit, and it looks very far across. You're so little that measuring the distance of how far across that is difficult for you. I'd say, I guess what's the order? Who's going next in the tunnel?
I was gonna try and send the spirit because it has to be within my sight.
Okay. You meaning move the spirit over to the other side of the pit?
If possible.
Okay, yeah, you can. You can move it, I think it's 60 feet, so...
Okay.
There. Make a survival check. You can see over Sarah's head enough to be able to see the pit, so make a survival check on Arteme.
And here I was looking at a spell, debating taking it or not, and I decided not.
Which one?
Jump. I'm like, this might be useful, but... Yeah.
Jump isn't a super common spell, but this is exactly the time that you guys could have used it. You're just estimating by looking at it. You're guessing it's probably about 10 to 12 feet across. So it's not super far, but you can tell near the edge as soon as Sarah's not heavy, but it looks like the edge is not stable. It's a crack that has opened up here, so the edge is starting to crumble off, and sand is pouring down over the side. You feel like if you got too close to that edge, it might crumble, or if something sufficiently heavy, let's say, stepped near the edge, it would crumble and fall. You and Sarah may not be enough to trigger. Norak almost certainly would be. You can see, by the way, at this point, you can see now that you guys are far enough in here, there's flickering light at the end of the hallway. There's a light source, obviously, in this chamber that it opens up to, down at the bottom of this slope. And basically, once you jump over this, you're going to be kind of into that chamber almost. So.
Alright, and on the other side, does there happen to be anything of decent size that's metal on the other side, by any chance?
Make a perception check.
Okay. Damn, disadvantage.
You rolled 2 2s actually as well, so it didn't even matter. But you guys are really rolling shitty, and this is going to spell some real bad news here shortly. Even with that though, I mean, you're looking down there, you don't see anything other than like hewn stone, like cut stone for the walls, and then sand and rubble that's fallen in. But you don't see anything metal. But there's just so much, sand and debris falling through the air anyways, it's hard to really get a clean look, but you don't see anything visible, at least, of metal.
And if I had to guess, how far down is the bottom of it?
Make a survival check. You would have need to move into the tunnel, by the way, so...
I think I'm in here. Didn't I move myself in there? Where the hell did I go?
No, I just moved you.
Okay, I was just moving the map then, sorry. I forgot to move myself.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to follow them. Okay, so... Yeah.
You can just see over Arteme and Sarah's heads enough to see down there. It looks quite deep. It's not a an intentional pit. It's a crack in the floor that has opened up so wide from these quakes that the floor has fallen into it. So the where the stone had been, that had been stairs previously, has collapsed down one side of it, and you're just by looking at it, you estimate that it's probably between 15 and 20 feet deep. But you're pretty sure that you can jump across it. You can, you think you can jump across this gap. The question is that you need to jump early enough to not crumble the edge of it and then make it to the other side. Sarah would struggle to be able to jump across. Arteme, you're pretty sure that you could jump across it too.
I could just have Norak throw me.
Nobody throws a dwarf or whatever that was. Nobody tosses a dwarf, I think it is.
Yeah, but she's not a dwarf. She's a half.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can throw halflings all day.
Mm-hmm. Alright,
So how jump rules work in this, by the way, is you can jump up to whatever your strength score is in feet. So if your strength was 18 feet, or strength was 18, you can jump 18 feet. But you need 10 feet of running before that jump, and each foot of the movement, or each foot of jumping still costs movement, meaning that if you needed to jump 20 feet, you'd have to have a strength of 20, and that would take a full movement of 30 feet. You guys only need to jump for about 12, meaning you would need 22 feet, and you need a strength higher than 12 to be able to make the jump. Except for Norak, with the complication of the edge being crumbly, and how early he's going to jump before that edge and still be able to make it.
Okay, well, I could easily jump it then, because my strength is 16? Or, sorry, 14.
Yeah, you'll be able to
So
make the jump. Yeah, for you, there's an extra... those rules are for medium, and you're small. As far as size rules, dog, stop it.
Oh.
Also means if you fall the whole way, it'll be a little more dangerous for you. But you could potentially make the jump. You would just need a higher roll. Basically, it's just going to affect your DC a little bit, is all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just have Norak throw me.
Now, keep in mind, though, you do presume, based on everything, all the details you've been told so far, that what's in that room is very unlikely to be friendly to you. And you can't see enough into the room to know that if you jump in, making a ton of noise, landing on the other side, you'll probably alert whatever is in there.
Okay.
Make perception checks, all three of you.
So, the circle of land spells that I have, they don't count towards my stuff, but do I still use a spell slot when I use them?
Yeah, they still take spell slots.
Okay.
They just don't count against your prepared spells at all.
Okay.
All three of you can just barely make out over the din of all this noise. You can make out a woman's voice chanting coming from down there. You can't exactly make out what she's saying, but there's like a repeated chant that's being repeated over and over again.
that sounds like it's coming from across the room over there.
Yeah, down to the end of this. You can see the kind of opening where it opens out after this pit, where the stairs have fallen in, basically. You can see the opening of this chamber down there, and it's echoing through there. The chanting is echoing out of that. My Discord turned red for a second, so okay, looks like it's back to normal now. So what's the plan?
Alright, so if we do this, we gotta be fast.
Alright, Arteme first, and then me, and then... What?
You're just gonna leave Sarah.
Yeah, you gotta throw me.
Well, I was gonna say either I can throw you, or I can jump first and then wait on the edge and kind of catch you a little bit if I need to.
Yeah, but if you're on the edge, you're gonna fall in.
You weigh 10 pounds.
You're heavy, though.
I know,
Edge is
but
crumbling.
is the other edge crumbling too? Both of them? Both sides?
Using your earlier survival check, it looks like, so it crumbled down from your side. You almost have a ramp, but the ramp goes down to the edge of a tall cliff, like an 18-foot cliff. Does that make sense? It basically it fell in, so the other side looks relatively stable, at least so far. It won't necessarily stay that way. But the stairs kind of were already at a slant and then just fell way more slanted. And then there's just this kind of almost sheer cliff on the other side that's 18 feet up.
Okay. So, do I have enough room to go past her, or would she have to move behind me so I can...
The two of you can move between each other, and Sarah
Okay.
can move through Norok. You just can't move through Norok. Norok, you basically medium creatures can't move through the same square. Sarah's small, so she can. Make an athletics check for Arteme. You're picking up Psy and jumping over, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out.
Okay, now only because it's within your strength threshold, so you didn't need to roll really high, so the DC was going to be really low for you. It was just a matter of whether you slip in the sand and the edge of this and everything. But you managed to make it to the other side. You kind of step off of the edge of this, and your left foot where you go to land, where it hits the edge, you almost stumble off of it because there's slippery, it's sand there, so your foot almost slips out from underneath you. But you do kind of lively make it to the other side and spin around the corner. You can see into the other room now, so thankfully, make a stealth check on Arteme as well. We're going to use these stealth checks actually for the group. So.
Okay. Can I also clear a bit of the sand to make it easier for them to land?
With that roll, I would say that you don't appear to have been noticed. You do see, 3 figures holding 3 other figures. There's 3 presumed, captives or prisoners at the end here. A woman and then 2 Yuan-Ti. And then 3 humans that each of them are holding a human at the end of this, and they don't appear to have noticed you so far. The woman is chanting. I'll go ahead and mark them on here for you. Make a... I don't know that you need... There's no check needed, actually, to clear that. So, I mean, you kind of brush off as much of the sand as you can. I mean, how thorough you are, is kind of dictated by how much time you have, I would say. But she is standing, from what you can tell here, she's standing at the edge of a giant pit. And the human that she's holding is, she's chanting with this human in one arm, and she's holding something above her head with the other that looks like a long white piece of bone, sharpened bone. You're the only one that's able to see this, by the way, so far. But she's chanting and holding that above his head. It looks like she's about to bring it down to stab him. So you may need to hurry your gathering, otherwise she'll probably kill this guy, whether that matters to you or not, it's up to you. So you've landed and cleared it as much as you can. We're still kind of acting very rapidly for both what Sarah and Norok are doing, so you guys let me know now, and then we'll move on.
I have a question. Does it have to be athletics, or can I make it an acrobatics check?
I would say that Sarah could probably try a little wall running kind of a thing, like some parkour shit to try to make herself over. But are you proficient in acrobatics? If you're proficient, I'd say you could use it.
Yes.
Yeah, then I'd say you could.
Okay, then you want to go first and be there just in case I don't make it?
That's what I was going to do.
Alright, well, G, so you, in seeing this with your earlier survival roll, you see that you're going to need to jump early because the edge of this is going to collapse if you try to jump off of it. You're too heavy, it'll collapse under your foot and you'll fall. So you're going to have to jump early. So tell me, the pit is 12 feet across and you need to clear it. So how close to it are you jumping? You need to run for 10 feet and then jump. So how close to it are you jumping to the edge?
I'm going to give myself 2 extra feet.
Okay. Alright, then that would be the piece. Alright, make your athletics roll. And you're going to have disadvantage because of... you run towards the edge, and you step your right foot down just as you're about to step off of it. You do feel a crack beneath the floor, but you're almost sure that you're okay until you're sailing through the air and you see that you're just barely not going to make it. You cartwheel your arms through the air and you smash on the edge of this cliff, square in the chest. So your arms are over it. You're basically hanging off the edge of this cliff with your arms and your shoulders above it and your head, with your feet dangling into the pit. You see Arteme there, and you hear the chanting, but you're stuck on the edge here. Sarah, what are you doing? Make a stealth check on Norok as well. And see how much noise that made. Okay. Arteme, you look over in a panic and look at these three to see if they heard the sound of Norak smashing into this. Thankfully to you, it sounded like all the rocks falling in here, basically, and it doesn't look like they've reacted to it, but you do see Norak is hanging off the edge of this. You know you're probably not strong enough to pull him up. I mean, you might be able to help, but he's definitely very heavy and hanging off the edge. Sarah, what are you doing?
Can I wait for Norak to get out of the way?
Sure. Norak, what are you doing?
Trying to pull myself up.
Okay, make a strength check. I'd say even athletics. You could probably add your proficiency bonus. I mean, you're used to climbing stuff, so you can use your athletics check instead. That'll help you roll a little bit. There you go, finally. You guys keep rolling shitty, it's going to be a bad night for you. It was still only an 11. You with disadvantage, you had a 5 and a 12, but the 5 was 5 plus your 6 modifiers, a total of 11. You needed a 10. So you kind of, using both arms on it, you kind of dig your feet into the side of this, which is, you know, just exposed dirt, and kind of push yourself up as carefully as you can up onto your elbows, and then kind of slide your way through the, you know, the sand that has been displaced by Arteme, moving yourself out of the way and then standing back up. You see the same thing. You see, looking ahead, in fact, actually make a, just on Norak, make a perception check. And actually, you get to roll it with advantage, which will mean it'll be a flat check, because you'll still have disadvantage from the exhaustion, but it'll be a flat check for rolling with advantage. Sarah, what are you doing?
Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna try to acrobatics this and use the wall.
Alright.
Hardcore around this thing.
Okay. Yeah, the walls, the sides of the wall are still there, so... Okay. You jump forward and kind of in midair kind of kick off of the wall just to try to give yourself some extra momentum already midair, and push yourself further and land almost acrobatic style, almost like circus acrobatic on the other side. Just the smoothest of the three of you by far. But you've landed on the other side. Make a stealth check on Seraphina. Alright, it was 9. Okay. The math on that is... Alright. The three of you now can see what's in this room. Oh, that perception check that you made, G. The thing that she's holding above her head looks very familiar. It's long and tapered, and it looks... Arteme initially looked like a sharpened piece of bone, but you actually held the Fang of Sek for a while, and what she's holding above her head looks exactly the same. For Arteme, you can place that looks about the shape and size that would have sit inside of that mount that you found in the library.
Oh, okay.
But she's holding above her head in one hand as if it was a knife, about to bring it down to stab this guy, while she's chanting another of these fangs above her head there. But basically, as soon as you guys are kind of in there, the quakes are just so deafening here because it's echoing up through that giant hole in the floor there. Just this massive kind of chasm that's opened up. There's sand and stone and dirt that are just falling all around you. There are 3 pillars in the center of the room here, and 2 of them are already cracked in the middle, and you get the impression this chamber is going to fall soon. But within the short breaks between the tremors here, you can hear this horrendous screaming that is filling the chamber now. The man that's being held over it is screaming. And just beyond that cracked pillar, you can see this woman with midnight gray skin, pointed, and I'm not like pure black, like black, kind of a dark gray, not like African American black. Extremely, very, very dark. Pointed ears, blazing white hair. She's wearing black robes, and she's holding this prisoner at the edge of this chasm here, and that long, sharp bone above her head, and she's chanting something unintelligible. And then beside her are 2 Yuan-Ti that are each facing the pit, and each of them are holding a bound prisoner in their grasp. One of them's a really big, burly one, and the other one's a little bit smaller and lithe. You rolled that okay. And she does not appear to have noticed you, but the tremors are getting pretty, loud, and this place does not seem like it's going to last for very long. So, give me some initiative. We'll go ahead and go into initiative order for how you guys want to react through this.
Ugh.
Seriously?
Better than I did.
A 9 is still not that bad considering what you could have gotten. Alright. That means that through... Let's see... Arteme is going first.
Do we get a surprise round because they don't know we're here?
Well, so this kind of is... They have low rolls. Basically, they had a huge penalty to their initiative because they don't know that you're there. But also because it's so loud in here. If you guys had rolled shittier on your stealth, they would have noticed you and it would have been normal. But basically, they haven't noticed you yet, and this is essentially your surprise round, that you guys are going to act first.
Okay.
If you guys had also rolled really shittily, then, you know, presumably it could have gone differently, but you all rolled above them anyway. Okay, you're firing at one of the Yuan-Ti. Fox? Did you mute yourself or something? We haven't heard you for a while.
I can't hear either.
No.
There she is.
Okay, alright. I just hadn't heard you say anything.
That was... okay, so I'm gonna use my short bow, and I'm aiming for the back. I might have been pressing the wrong button.
Okay, yeah, we hadn't heard you for a bit. So you're shooting at one of the Yuan-Ti then?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's the one I targeted.
It is, the one straight ahead of you, north of you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you aim at this snake man and hit him square between the shoulder blades, straight in the back. You hear him kind of grumble and turn towards you. He is holding a human in his, in his grasp, basically grappling him. And then kind of you see the terrified face of this man kind of turn towards you as he spins around, like expecting that he's about to be thrown into into the pit here. Go ahead and roll your damage. Okay. When you do that, what did my page go? Here it is. When you do that, the woman, now noticing you guys, of course, turns in and screeches out at you guys. She yells, "Trespassers, we will not be stopped. Do not interfere. Bow instead. Join my ascent, and you will be rewarded." Are you responding at all?
I'm not taking.
Okay, alright.
I'm firing that one.
Alright, I would say because you guys are doing this at the same time, Norak and Serafina get to go, but she's ready. Basically, she knows you guys are here now, but she cannot respond to Norak and Sarah because you guys are doing this at the same time. All three. So I think I went over this to you with you too, Fox, but basically the 6 seconds that one turn is occurring in all occur at the same time in general. Now there are certain things that we kind of have to massage that a little bit to, have this happens after this and so on. That's how reactions work and that kind of thing. But in general, the 6 seconds are everybody's turn during one round are all happening at the exact same time. It's all kind of Norak isn't waiting for you to go and then he moves and then lets Sarah move and so on. You guys are all basically acting at the same time, as much as the game will allow anything. So without it being too narratively incomprehensible. What's Norak doing?
Right. First thing I'm going to do is rage.
Okay.
And
you did put the effect up.
okay.
Make sure you hit the effect on yourself. Did you count those off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're not on a full square. Let me adjust the grid right here just for this room. One sec. And make it a little easier. Grids don't always line up perfectly, especially when the maps have like perfect squares for the floor. It's always annoying when they don't line up, so there you go. Okay, so you've made it to there. You got your rage up, what are you doing?
Yeah, so that was my 30 feet, and I'm going to throw a hand axe at Herschel.
Okay. What are you aiming for?
I'm going to see. Does he have his back, or is he still turning around, or is he facing me now?
He hasn't had a chance to react yet. They haven't moved. The only reason that I gave that to Ilashara is because, well, don't worry about that right now. But basically, she has had a chance to free action in that she didn't bring the fang down to stab the guy yet. Meaning she didn't get her action yet. It was just a free action to talk, same as you guys have free actions to talk.
Okay, so his back is still to me.
Correct.
So I'm gonna try to hit his back area, because if I go for his head, it might go past him and hit the human. So I don't want to take a chance on that.
They
So
are quite a bit
shoulders
larger.
back.
They are quite a bit larger than the humans, but yeah, that's a safer hit anyway. So okay, go ahead and make your attack. You're not gonna do a frenzied rage. Miss, by the way. So
Okay. No, I'll probably do that on my next turn, but I don't think it would. Well, I guess I could have thrown 2, but not either way though.
okay. You try to fling it at him, and it goes sailing straight over his head. And you hear it kind of clink against the wall, and it falls down into the pit. You've now lost that action. You'll have to buy another, unless you want to go jumping down that pit to get it. Sarah's turn. What are you doing?
Alright, so these square things here, are they like little platforms?
Yeah, they're little raised alcoves, and then there's a stone. They're old style sarcophagi basically, but there's nothing in it. It's just like a platform. You can walk up to it because of the steps.
Sweet. And then
You're trying to get some height. Is that what you're aiming for?
Well, yeah, and a clear view of her.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not gonna say anything to her. I'm just gonna cast a firebolt at her face.
Okay. And it hits. So you send this over. She's got one arm kind of up in an arc where she's holding this, her right arm, where she's holding this fang, and you send it through like where the fang is kind of almost making this full circle, where the arm and the elbow are up, and then the fang is kind of curved around. You have almost this perfect circle. You aim straight between the center of it, and smashes her square in the face. Can it light stuff on fire?
I actually have no idea.
Let's look.
Yeah, flammable objects ignite.
Okay. Where this smashes her square in the face with a decent roll, you see that the... Huh?
If it isn't being worn or carried.
Oh, never mind then. So it smacks her square in the face though, and she has to kind of shake her head off to the side, and you see her eyes are kind of singed from it, and she kind of opens them up, but she's almost having to bring her hand over to brush that away from her eyes. That if your turn, any bonus actions?
I'm gonna wait.
Okay. She is immediately going to bring that fang down, and you see it stab square through the chest, through the center of the chest of this human man that she's holding. I thought I had a note for this, maybe not. But she just brings it down square through the chest, though, and then yanks it free, and she shoves him forward, and you hear him scream, and he's already tumbling over the edge, and it's already falling. Which one is that one? And then she turns to face you. The three of you, I guess. Where is that? And she shouts something that you don't understand. There's a noise that comes from her that is this like boom, basically, that fills this whole room, and all of you see where the sand is resting on top of stone. It bumps up off of like a booming sonic boom might kind of make. Each of you need to make a charisma save. You need to beat 15s.
Oh, what save, sorry?
Charisma saving throw. That is very good that you passed that, because that would have been very dangerous for you, particularly. And with a 1, you definitely did not save. And with an 8, you didn't save either. Both Arteme and Norak make a roll a d6, just a 5d6. 2 and 4. G, you take 11 points of psychic damage and are immediately just knocked down to your you feel the wind knocked out of you, and you're kind of collapsed down to your knees and are holding the sides of your head. Just this immediate headache, just excruciating pain in your mind, where this boom had come out from her. So you are prone at the moment. I'm not all the way down to your feet, but you're still, as far as the effect is concerned, you're prone. Drop this on you. There you go. And Arteme, you when this cacophonous sound booms through the room, you are immediately terrified of her, and you have to move 30 feet away from. You have to move your full movement away from her, which is going to run you. You were on the square, yeah. So you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. which would put you right to the edge of the pit. I'm going to give you one chance on that of whether or not you would jump down into the pit or try to jump back across. You wouldn't be able to make the jump either way. So make a wisdom save on Arteme to see whether you do go try to jump off the pit in fear or not. Okay. It's a good enough save. You make it to the edge of the pit and just in time kind of stop where you're skidding towards the edge. Thankfully you cleared enough of the sand that you don't go skidding off of it and kind of turn yourself around and kind of have to shake your head to try to get this out of your mind. That is it for her turn. Herschel, seeing the axe go swimming over his head, throws the human to the middle here in front of Elishara. He's afraid of her, obviously, but is going to turn and then is going to take a swing at Norok, who is kind of down and holding his head, so he'll have advantage on the swing against Norok. And he brings a great sword down over Norok's head, which hits. Which, thankfully, due to your rage, you resisted a good amount of it. Vril, similarly, is going to throw the captive down and is going to spin around and worm his, kind of snake his way over towards the halfling trying to hide in the corner. You know what, actually...
Could he actually see her from that vantage point?
I would say so. I mean, especially because he saw the firebolt fly over it, so he knew something came from there. But instead of approaching the full way, he's just going to move into where he get a clear shot at her, and is going to send out there a boom of this glowing, radiant fire through the air that sails straight at Sarah. Sarah, you need to make a dex save. Oh, I forget when I dropped that on you. Okay, you actually rolled a 7. Which is a failure. No,
could I?
No, sorry, you rolled a 19. Never mind. Because you rolled it and then I dropped it on you, and the one when I dropped it on you was a 7. You actually rolled a 19, which would be a success. So you'll take half damage from this.
Oh.
I hate that when I drop these on. Like, I should be able to drop it on you just to have it prompt you and not automatically roll using your stats. But it automatically does, so I'll put that in as a feedback thing for the adjust would be nice. So you take 3 damage instead of 6 as this kind of roaring bright white flame burns over your head and just smashes into the wall behind you, and you feel it kind of settle down over your shoulders and burn. Whoops. Burning away. You had 8, so you have now 5 temporary HPs left over. And now, as this chamber is still kind of cacophonous and booming, with a deafening crack, a rift splits open in the ceiling in the middle of the chamber here, just pouring out this waterfall of deluge of sand and stone. The floor in the middle here, and I'm going to drop I'll drop a circle on it, just so you guys can see where it is collapsed through. The floor there is difficult terrain, and it'll basically cost you double movement to move through anywhere through that circle. Where it's kind of moved and cracked in and filled it with sand. The captives can't do anything. It is Artemis' turn.
Okay, I move forward.
Okay. You are behind a pillar. There you go. Okay.
There. Partly behind, partly not.
Sure.
And then... So I'm gonna cast Thorn Whip on him.
Okay. And it hits.
Okay.
Are
And then
you pulling it?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull him.
You can go up to 10 feet, so into the sand.
Yeah, into the sand.
Okay. You can go as far as there. You can put him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, as my bonus action, I'll move the spirit closer to Sarah.
Okay. You can move it up to 60 feet, so like it can actually be in the same spot as her, so if she gets hit, it would heal her. The fire that she just took damage from burned away some of her temporary HPs, and those can't be healed yet. But if she, takes actual damage, then that would heal some. Actually,
Yeah,
Norok...
they'll still be in range with me, too.
Yeah, it would. Norok took actual damage, so keep that in mind as well. He's got 20 HPs left. You got hit by the greatsword, and what else, G? Oh, the psychic thing. Never mind, that wouldn't have helped for this part anyway, so... Alright, that it for your turn for Arteme? Fox?
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna move the spirit over here.
Okay. What is the range? I think you can move it like 60 feet or something on a turn. So I mean, you got as your bonus action, you got plenty of versatility for a range on that. So okay. Then it is Norik's turn.
Okay.
Fox, are you lagging or are you hitting the wrong button or something? Because like I keep hearing you, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm hitting the wrong button. I was saying, is it within range of healing Norok right now, or can I move it a bit farther?
You could move it all the way to him. You can actually heal him right now with it. You would just have to move it to his square. It has to be in the same square, I think is how it reads, isn't it? Let me see.
Or 5 feet, wasn't it?
It's either within 5 feet or touching them. If
A 5-foot cube.
Yeah. Moves into the spirit space, or if you move it into that, would count the same way. You can cause it to restore 1d6 hit points without any action required. So if you move, basically using your bonus action, if you touched him with a spirit, then he can heal 1d6, which you roll. So okay.
Which
So
I
roll.
roll.
Yeah, you roll it each time. Anytime, if you're the one doing the healing, you're the one that does the rolling.
What?
Well, you accidentally healed. First of all, you accidentally healed the bad guy, so let me fix that. But because you had him targeted. But it's 1 HP healing to Norok.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, better than nothing for sure.
Thank you.
But that is standing there, so as long as it's in your, in range of you, every time it's Artemis' turn, she could use it to heal you or move it to, heal Artemis or whatever too. So I'll get you
Or
a better
Sarah.
token for that too. Yeah, or Sarah, or whoever else needs it. Or you can keep healing the bad guys if you want.
Not trying to, thank.
RG, what are you doing?
I forgot I had to turn.
You are prone, so you'll need to stand up, which will take half of your movement if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. I take prone off
And
there.
then put on
you're
Frenzy
friendly.
and Reckless Attack this time.
All right.
Stand
You're
up.
gonna be, as soon as this range is over with, you're going to be real screwed.
Yes, I am. Wait, I just targeted him, didn't I?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
So you stand up in just this utter rage after he kind of clubbed you over the head with his hilt, and cleaves straight through his shoulder. Go ahead and roll your damage. Thankfully, you got a good modifier on that. So those are shitty rolls, a 3 and a 1, but still 11 damage. It cuts a decent swath through his shoulder, and he brings his arm up to try to deflect it. Well, assuming that you're going to swing again, to try to deflect the next one. Go ahead and make your attack.
Oh, yeah.
All right, because of advantage, you got the natural 20. It was an 18 and a 20 on that roll. Good roll. So, okay. So this effect is when you kind of stood up, you took one swipe of it over his shoulder, and then as you're standing, kind of uppercut almost with the length of this, with a 6.5 foot blade, causing him to fall backwards. So the crit damage will be there, but you can push him up to 10 feet away, which will push him right to the edge of the chasm.
Cool.
So up to you. Are you going to push him or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage. 2 1s. Jeez. You guys are
Damn
rolling
it.
really shitty. Actually, you can't. You can't get the 1s because of something else. The first one that you rolled had to re-roll. What is it that you have that lets you re-roll 1s on damage?
It's got to be something to do with my
I think it's the rage
past the
thing.
berserker thing.
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
the-
rage
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, because you had 2 1s and one of them re-rolled and got a 6 the second time. So that's good. So you got 6, 6, 1, and 4. But you cleave straight through them, and the way that he kind of sinews his way back looks like if he hadn't moved to avoid that, if he hadn't kind of dropped back that extra 10 feet, that it would have cleaved straight through that arm, and he probably would have died. These guys are not that wounded, but they're stronger than that. But the damage would have been much worse had he not moved out of the way. That was your bonus action and your action. Anything else? That should be it for you, right? Okay. Sarah's
Yeah.
turn. Oops. Sarah's turn.
Okay, so you know what? No, we're gonna hit her first. Okay. I'm really sorry for the captives out there, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
Throw them in the pit. Throw them all in the pit.
I'm
Sacrifice
gonna
them.
shatter on her, and it's a 10-foot radius,
Okay.
so it'll hit the guy next to her too.
Let's see here. Shatter. A sudden loud ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from a point of your choice within range. Each creature within a 10-foot radius Con saving throw, 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save, or half as much on a success. Okay. There are going to be some unintended consequences of this, I would say. In knowing that you're in a relatively brittle, inorganic stone building right now that is already crumbling and falling apart, you are making a very dangerous choice here. Not necessarily for you guys, maybe, but she rolled a 9 and failed her save. So your DC was a 13, she got a 9. So go ahead and target Herschel and the 2 captives as well. Okay, now that you have them all targeted, go ahead and re-roll that cast, and she failed, so we'll count this first roll as your fail, because this way it'll apply to all 4 of them. Okay, let me make sure if well, the second one would have been a success, but we're going to ignore that because she definitely failed. So go ahead and roll your damage. Okay. The explosion blasts the pillar that is already cracked right in front. Basically, that range just hits the edge of the pillar, as well as these steps that have kind of collapsed and fallen in. Where the pillar explodes, shards of it just go straight into the faces and heads of these humans that are kind of kneeled down and already kind of looking near death anyways. All 3 of these were pretty badly wounded already, by the way. And in fact, I didn't give you guys that description, but all of them had multiple bleeding wounds all over them. And the edge of the pit there's blood dripping down into it. That presumably was coming from these as she was taking them one by one. Anyways, those 2 totally toast. So you just murdered some innocents. Good job, Sarah. That's typical noble woman for you. Ignore the poor.
Well, you know what? We need to stop the bad guys at all costs. So if there's casualties,
I'm not the kind of person to argue that the ends don't justify the means, so that's fine by me.
They're collateral damage. It's fine.
The thing is, too, though, depending on how wounded they were, there's no telling if we could have saved them even if we tried.
That's part of what I was mentioning, too, is that they were pretty badly wounded already, but that did do full damage to her, so we'll roll that. But that explosion that erupted around them, they're just kind of just pelted by these sharp shards of rock and stone that smashes into them. They're not knocked away, but let me check the edge there. Okay. You don't see anything else happen as far as you can tell so far. As far as, the rest of it crumbling or anything of that sort. Any bonus actions?
No, but I am going to move a little.
Okay.
Let's see, 5, 10.
Any move that's inside of that circle is going to be double the movement, so each square will be 10 feet.
Oh no, I'm backing out and around.
Okay.
So, like there.
Well, the corner would still be 10, so you'd go... That'd be 10, and then you could go south and around it, so it'd be 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You could go as far as here. Or there, that's fine too. You could use that as cover, by the way. So those pillars, you can use those as cover to keep them from being able to hit you.
Alright, yeah, I'll stay there then.
Okay. Fox, I took Sai off of the combat tracker just so that we didn't have to skip through her all the time, but if she's doing anything in particular, just let me know. If she's just trying to stay out of the way, that's fine. Okay?
Yeah, right now she's trying to stay out of the way and a lot.
Okay. Ilashara shrieks, seeing that this blast occur that has now kind of killed her victims. They would technically be bleeding out at this point. They would be unconscious, the same way that you guys go unconscious if you get dropped to 0. So she shrieks at Herschel to grab them, is all she says. And you don't necessarily know why, but that's what she shrieks to him. And this is after he's kind of been slashed and backed away towards the edge of the pit here. And then she will step over here to try to get a decent line of sight, and is going to that would be okay. She's going to she holds an arm out, and you see just one after another of these small, glowing, kind of sparkling orbs that fling out in your direction, and each of you are hit twice by these, meaning Sarah and Arteme. Well, actually, these automatically hit, so there's no roll or anything to be had. But they're magic missiles, so it's a spell that just automatically hits. But each of you will take 2 hits. one of these kind of goes sailing over Viril's head and smashes you square in the chest, and as soon as it does, the kind of shock of it is enough that it kind of breaks your concentration of holding onto the healing spirit. The healing spirit is broken.
Okay.
Second one hits you, and then 2 on Sarah. Which looks like it used the last of your false life, huh?
Can I use shield?
No.
Because
so magic missiles automatically hit. There's no.
No, but it says that if it does, then I take no damage from magic missiles.
Oh shit! Does it specifically magic missile?
Yes.
Oh no.
Invisible barrier of magical force protects you until the start of your next turn. You have +5 to AC, including against triggering attack, and you take no damage from magic missiles. Nice. So, as these come sailing over and you see one of them smack into Artemis' chest, you kind of know what's coming, and you throw this glowing blue field up around yourself, and they kind of smash into the edge of it and just dissipate, doing no damage. Looks like it would have been 4. So let me take that back. Yeah, you have. Okay, so you still have 5 temporary HPs. And she shrieks in frustration. It is Herschel's turn. He kind of shakes his head and he's kind of bringing one arm up to cover his chest where he's been gashed open. And he reaches down and grabs one of the humans and throws it into the pit. Vril's turn. Let me take the token off for the healing spirit. Vril, he's been shouted at enough of this, but he can't move that far. That'd be 20, that'd be 10, 20. He can get as far as to get up to Artemis here. Is going to, he's holding a dagger in both hands and is going to try to stab at you with both, just swinging both as these kind of wide swath cuts towards you. Hits with the first. And swings the second time, which also hits. Hits with the second. Where these carve through, you kind of throw your arms up to try to, defensive posture, and you end up with these big wide cuts one on each arm that are just pouring blood down. But that is it for their turn, and next is there's another massive shift under your feet. You feel, for no question about it, especially this close to this pit here, there's something very large that's moving below the surface here, and it causes the floor to begin to buckle and crack. And one of the support structures that's in the middle here, you guys, Sarah kind of blew up the last one for most of it. It's still, it's still holding the ceiling up, but the one in the middle here cracks wide open, and the ceiling caves down in the middle, kind of almost over where that circle already is, blocking part of the room here. Any creatures in that space, which is actually just him right now, have to make a DC 16 save. This Vril is the only one to hit it. He did not. Or take 2d6. So the ceiling collapses down over him, where this pillar, basically this pillar in the center, cracked and split open, and then the ceiling just falls over on this side, basically filling this part of the room. Let me draw another square, I suppose. Oops. This whole part of the room has caved in, and this collapse lands square over his head, which... he is now pinned underneath. He's taken damage from it and is now pinned. He can't move. He's kind of stuck under the edge of it there. But you see that his mouth is still moving. He does not appear to be dead. Artemis' turn.
Okay.
Just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to put him right there where he's still pinned under it. Go ahead.
I put my bow back, on my shoulder, and then grab my quarter.
Your quarter staff? Okay. Can you use what? Shillelagh? Okay. Okay, so you cast it with your bonus action. You're gonna attack Vril with it, or are you just casting it?
I'm gonna attack with it.
Okay, you're cutting out at the end there. I don't know if it's just lag or what's happening. I'm getting most of what you're saying. Okay. It does, so you bring it down where he's, in fact, actually you would have advantage on the roll, so go ahead and make the attack one more time.
Oh, okay. With advantage?
Well, you already rolled it once, so just roll it one more time.
Okay.
That's the damage. You're just piling up damage on him. There we go. Make the attack roll one more time. The cast, on the Shillelagh cast.
The cast. Oh,
There you go. There we go. That definitely hits. Okay. All right, and your first damage roll was 7, so we'll go ahead and put that back on him. Where he's stuck under it in his face, basically he's got one arm free that he's kind of waggling on the dirt, trying to pull himself out from underneath it. You can see where his kind of serpentine form is still snaked back, and most of the rubble is just caved into it. You can see where it's kind of broken a big chunk of flesh out of his snake tail, and he's trying to kind of use his arm to pull himself out from underneath it. But there's just so much sand that he just keeps shoveling straight down that he can't get any purchase. But you bring the end of the shillelagh down across his jaw, and it kind of cracks through the side of his face. He looks dazed. He's still alive. That was your bonus action and your action. Anything else?
Move back.
Okay. He would still try. He doesn't have his weapon in his hand. I guess so. He's technically prone. He would. Basically, he would normally have an attack of opportunity, but because he's so smashed and badly damaged at this point, I don't think that he would have, any purchase to really try to get a swing at you, because he's trying to use his free hand to grab, sand. He doesn't have his knife in his hand, or one of his daggers to try to stab at you, so no opportunity to worry about. Norak's turn. You've got Herschel in front of you, who has just grabbed one of the humans and thrown him in the pit, and that's what he's been, presumably instructed to do. Not that he won't defend himself, but that's what happened.
Alright. See if I can finish off my dudes in here.
Okay. Natural 20 again. Shit.
Sweet.
You guys keep rolling shitty except for Ben's natural 20s, apparently. There's no special effect on this one, it's just a 2.
Yeah, well, I just remembered that I'm lucky.
Oh, you do? Did you have a 1 in there somewhere? Oh, you did, huh? With your... Was it the jump?
No, I think it was one of my checks when we were talking to the sand.
It was, yeah. Yeah, you can roll 1s, but you have to use the new roll is what it is, yeah, so. Yeah, that's a pretty handy one to have. Jeez, dude. You rolled almost, well, I mean, not quite max, but still pretty damn high. You cleave through where he's near the edge there. He is going to riposte, so he's going to take an attack back at you. If I can find his... Oh, goddammit, that's Brill, no wonder. He missed, though. He rolled a 13. Ignore, accepted his roll damage on him. Whoops. There we go. Nope. No, that was... Here we go. Okay. So he tries to swing back at you, but he's just so off balance as he's kind of just thrown this guy that he tries to bring his sword up to swing it, and just goes off to the side, doesn't even come close to you. Bonus actions. Okay, that also hits.
Sweet.
You got up to 3, so good thing you're reckless raging. Where you bring this down across this kind of already open wound that you've carved into his chest, and where you've begun to kind of cut it away, you can see the exposed rib where it's just split straight open, and you can see the heart barely beating inside of his chest. He's lost so much blood, he's starting to move sluggishly and slowly, and kind of leans forward just over on his snake form and drops the sword at his feet. He's not moving very, very fast. He looks about dead. Anything else? You're just gonna... I guess that's it for your turn anyway, huh?
Yep.
Okay, Sarah's turn.
Okay. So if I move... 15. So if I move there, I have a clear line of sight to her because that pillar's gone, right?
Yeah, well, the ceiling fell in is the thing. So basically all of that space is pretty much filled with rock. Like the pillar fell, but all of the rock that was above the ceiling fell in place of it, so you can't really see her at all.
20. Can I see her from there?
No.
Dang.
That whole corner is pretty much filled, like floor to ceiling.
You'd have to be about here to see her.
Yeah, you would need to move to
Well,
be able to
I'm also... Can I
No,
be
so
on
what?
top of sarcophagus now?
be on top of
So
what?
I'd be taller than I normally am?
Well, it's not. It's like it's floor to ceiling is the thing. So that whole edge. I mean, I would say that you could make a shot from there, but she's gonna have partial cover, or half cover rather. So you'll have basically a -2 on your chance to hit her.
Okay, well I can't really get any closer anyways. Could I hit him from here? If I...
With a risk of potentially hitting Norak.
No, this guy.
Avril.
Oh, Vril? Where? Yeah, you. From
Yeah.
there you can't see him. No, you could from where you were if you hadn't moved.
All right. Well, I will just take the -2
Okay.
and try to
So
hit her
you
with
know how to
firebolt.
do that, right? Remember how to do that in the bottom left.
Yeah. I
Okay.
will.
Go ahead.
Hit her, bitty.
And it hits anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, you rolled plenty high enough, so you kind of curving the bullet wanted style send a bolt of flame right between where this rubble has fallen through and this pillar, and hit her. She kind of bats it away with the arm or with an arm, but it still hits her in the shoulder anyways. You hear her shriek. It actually does max damage. Nice. Any bonus
Okay.
actions?
No. There was something else that I saw in my abilities. Oh, so can I attempt to hide since all that stuff is in the way? Because it
You
says
always
that.
can. Now hiding
and
would
it-
be an action though.
Ah, okay.
Unless you have, like, for rogues, it's a bonus action if you have what's called cunning action, like Dross does. But if
Okay,
you,
no, I just have the naturally stealthy in traits.
let me see. Their abilities. Naturally stealthy. Yeah, you would need to use your action to do that still. I mean, you can still, hide. You can move behind a pillar or something like that. But as far as actually using the action to hide, to prevent her being able to see you, you would need to use your action to do so.
Okay, now I'm probably would not be safe to use Shatter again, so I can bring up Shadow Knife as a bonus action, right?
Yep, you can cast it as a bonus action. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that then.
Okay. So your arm kind of extends into this stiletto of dark material there. She shrieks in just an utter rage, and you see. Shit, she's already wounded. She reaches one hand out. Norak, you see her kind of pointing her hand towards you. And you're kind of bracing yourself, getting ready to kind of shield yourself as much as you can. And she mumbles an incantation you don't recognize, and you see a stream of blood sail across the room between the carved open wound where you've almost killed this Yuan-Ti in front of you, and it just sails out of his chest across the room into her hands, until she's holding this ball of it, and she kind of just absorbs it into her skin. He slumps further forward until he's not moving anymore. You presume that he's probably dead. I'm gonna leave him on the map just because the body will still be in the way. Well, no, because I don't want the actions. Right? You guys know where they're at basically, so just you know that he's dead. And she, I would say that if you looked at her, she would look like she's been healed a little bit.
Okay.
Here we go. Not very much, but a little bit. And then she... Let's see. What options does she still have then? You're not close enough to prevent her from doing this. She is going to run around this corner here. And... No, that's fucking brutal. What's the range on that? Foot sphere. Okay. She mumbles something else and then flings an arm, and you see as she kind of brings this arm down and like an upward motion, like she's throwing a softball, you see this ball of fire begin to roll up around it and then flip out of her hand and crash into the wall right in the back, basically where that small pyre is. Both Sarah, Arteme, and then we'll need to make one for Sai as well, need to make dex saves. Need to beat a 15.
And Vril too. Bye-bye, buddy.
Yeah, because he'll have disadvantage because he's prone, so he's probably...
No!
All right, Artemis, you see this kind of flickering light coming through, just sailing through the air, and you immediately just kind of cover your eyes and duck to the side. Because you have her next to you anyways, I would say that you would be able to give Sai advantage on that if you want to roll dex saves for her. Or what's her modifier?
Don't know what her modifier is.
Let's find it real quick here. It's 3. Okay. So go ahead and roll a flat d20. Oh, is that what that second roll was?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if that was your roll for her, anyways, I mean, you're being honest, I assume, right? I mean, that you did roll it twice. So I assume that's what the second one was for
Yeah,
her?
the second one was for Sai, because I wasn't sure what her modifier was.
Okay. Well, it was +2 actually, so it will fit right there. But you dive over her, seeing this arcing light kind of coming over and trying to protect her as much as you can. You're going to take half damage because you made the save. You'll be able to cover Sai enough that she won't take any damage at all from it. But both Sarah and you will be taking 8d6. You'll just be taking half. Fireballs are pretty nasty. Targeted, yep, Sarah and Artemis.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wait,
Both of you.
I have Shadow of the Grave.
Okay. Both of you go unconscious from this. How does Shadow of the Grave work?
As long as it's not a crit or... what else was it?
Starting first level, your existence Twilight state between life and death makes it difficult to defeat. Yeah, it was fire, not radiant, so you need to make a charisma save, DC 5 plus the damage taken. The damage was 28. You need to beat 8. You need to beat a 33 on a charisma save. Don't think that's going to work.
No. Not even close.
You actually still rolled really well, too. But both
Even
of
if I
you
got
are... What's that? Yeah, well, natural
Even
20.
if I had a natural.
Yeah, natural 20 I would count as succeeding anyway. Vrilla's definitely toasted, though. Sai will be the only one unhurt by this. But both of you are blasted, less from the fire itself and more from just the eruption, this massive explosion right behind you. Artemis, you're kind of blasted into the corner and then fall limp on the floor with Sai kind of underneath you. Sarah, you're knocked against the wall here. But that is it for her turn. It is Norak's turn. Oh shit, well, it's Artemis' turn and she's unconscious, so you have to make a death save, Fox. On your sheet, go to your main tab.
Okay.
Now, do you remember how these work? Do you want a reminder?
Roll.
Nice.
All right. So, on a natural 20, when you're making a death save, you stabilize. You don't become conscious, but you don't have to make any more. Let me make sure. You might come conscious with 1 point. Let me check real quick.
Doesn't that just mean 2 of the 3 rolls on a crit?
I think you stabilize on a natural 20, don't you? Let me find out.
Okay, maybe you're right. I can't remember exactly.
I think you stabilize. Oh. No, okay. All right, so the rules are this. In fact, I'll drop them in Discord for you guys. I need a shortcut to snipping tool. I use it all the time. There you go. Fox is super lucky. See how that works? Everybody good?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this explosion occurs and you are rattled against the wall, but you just shake your head, kind of trying to clear your vision, and look back, and you feel badly wounded, of course, but you have 1 hit point, so you are conscious and able to make. That is actually at the end of your turn. Would you make a death save? I'd say that you'd still get to use your turn. So normally it wouldn't be, but I would say in this particular situation you'd still have the forethought since you saw it coming anyway, so you can still take your turn.
Okay. I have nothing targeted, so I'm gonna use the healing spirit again.
Okay. Where are you at as far as your spell slots? You still have, you still have 1 second level available, right? Because you cast it
Yeah,
twice.
which
so you can do 2.
Yeah. Cast
Alright.
it twice today.
And you can put it anywhere within 60 feet, I think.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it like right beside me-ish.
You call on nature spirit to soothe the wounded. That you can see within range. You could see Sarah.
Because would that heal her to like bring her back up? Or?
Yeah. If
Okay, so I'll
it
put
touches
it
her,
near
it'll
Sarah.
just roll 1d6. Okay,
Okay,
then
I'll
roll
put
1d6.
it near Sarah then.
Okay, go ahead and roll 1d6. Can't roll less than a 1. Alright, so both of you
You're
are
alive.
awake with 1 hit point. There you go. So both of you kind of blast against the wall. Arteme kind of quick thinking snaps to it and sends this glowing spirit. You'll need a shape, by the way, Fox. So I guess tell me what animal you want it to look like, or what creature you want it to look like, and I'll get a token for that, a spirit version. But you send that over, and it is floating over by Sarah. Sarah, where you just got blasted against the wall. This kind of glowing look of this glowing apparition appears in front of your closed eyes. You know, you see light through your eyelids. And you kind of are just barely shaken awake by it. All three of you now have quite nasty headaches. Norok from the psychic blast, and the two of you from getting exploded. That is your action to cast it, so you still have a bonus action. Anything else you want to do with it? Fox?
Oh, I have a bonus action?
Yeah. It's just your action to cast it, so you still have your bonus action. If you were
okay.
moving it again, you just casted it over there. So if you had casted it and then moved it, then that would have taken your bonus action. But
Okay, so I can move it back to me
yeah, with your
to
bonus
heal
action.
myself
if
with
you
it.
want to. Yes. I would say that you can probably heal both with it in a turn. That's fair. I think so. Go ahead and roll 1d6 then for healing yourself with it. You casted it by her and then moved it to your.
Yeah, I already used the healing part of it, so it healed 4. I don't know if you just want to use that number or want me to reroll.
No, that's fine. I'll put it on. There you go.
Okay.
That it for your turn? I cut out there. I think it was my side. Was that it for your turn, Fox?
Sorry, yeah, that ends my turn. I even tried adding the delay to see if it would help, but...
That I think was just network lag, because it actually, like, the music went silent for a second too. That one I don't think was your side. So, all right, Norok's turn.
Okay. Time to finish this whore off.
And you're just gonna back into her.
That wasn't. How do I?
Mouse. There you go.
There we go. Oh, stay!
Now you're just dancing. You grab the mouse and use the actual mouse instead of trying to use the touchpad. Touchpads suck especially for this.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
So she is facing away from you. You won't have advantage, but you'll have a +2 because she's not facing you at all. She threw that over and was trying to run. She's about to run through this where this sand is pouring down from the ceiling.
And if it hits, I'm going to use Tribal Fury.
Okay. It does. It hits.
So
her arm was still extended, kind of where she softball tossed this fireball at the edge of the room there. Go ahead and roll your damage. Yeah. So for Tribal Fury, I set the effect up for you. So you'll hit the
die button.
Well, for whichever one your dice is, which are d6s. So you'll hit the effect for the 1d6 Tribal Fury first, and then you'll hit the or roll your damage. That was quick thinking on Fox to get both Sarah and Fox back up.
Yep. I tried.
Yeah, that could have been real dangerous. Like she was trying. Like it was obvious she was trying to run through this, but she was trying to kind of eliminate you guys as threats first. And it doesn't mean she wouldn't necessarily, have tried to jab at you guys on the way out. But either way, like if you had been unconscious, and Norok doesn't have a lot of means of healing, so, and plus this whole place is caving in, so. Okay, you rolled your damage already. All right. Any bonus action?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to use my inspiration to use Tribal Fury again.
God damn it. I should let you guys be so overpowered. Alright, it also hits.
Sweet.
Go ahead and mark off your inspiration too.
Okay.
Hit the... Was that a recovering? That's what you're using? Hit the cast for that so that I have it in the log as well.
No, I was going to use my Tribal Fury again to do the extra damage. That's my inspiration.
But you're using your inspiration to use recovering, which lets you use Tribal Fury.
Oh, yeah, so I need to... Yeah, I'll mark that off, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the same damage on both rolls, nice. You cleave with one wide swing down at the exposed arm, like right at the elbow, where she just kind of softball lobbed this fireball, and it just cuts a nasty gash through the whole bicep. Is just carved right open, and she swings around trying to kind of prepare herself for your swing at her, and the second one just goes straight over her back, carving a deep gauge there. She's very badly bleeding, and she kind of slumps forward almost to one knee, and she's about to stand up and try to run further. Which, if she gets, out of that, then maybe she'll have the opportunity, or you'll have a chance for an opportunity. But she's not dead yet. She just looks pretty badly wounded. Sarah's turn.
Right, so we're gonna chaos.
Oh, sorry, hang on. Before your turn here, where is it? Oh, wrong one. Okay, here it is. So, as Norok is swinging at her, and you kind of just stood up and kind of righted yourself, there's a deep, monstrous, just booming growl that emanates and echoes up through that pit at the end of this room here. And there's this noxious, smoky green fog that begins to lift up through. You guys can't exactly see it, but you can kind of feel it start to thicken the air, slowly filling the chamber. You guys, actually, Norok's the only one that's in it. You need to make a DC 12 con save, Norok. It's filled as far as you. In fact, actually, Elishar's going to make one as well. Okay, she made hers. Actually, both made hers. Okay, so this you feel it kind of around your feet, and it's starting to choke you around. You are able to kind of just breathe through it. You actually have Yog have 4 lungs, so you kind of just choke through it and are kind of holding your breath so you're not breathing it in. But it has filled up as far as Elishar, and it looks like it's going to fill the rest of the room as well. All right, go ahead, Sarah.
All right, so I'm assuming that missed.
You're not close enough. It's filling the room from the hole. It's starting from that hole in the floor, and it's making its way south towards you. Oh, sorry. What missed? Oh shit, your cancel. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see you already rolled. Yeah, that missed.
Dang it. All right. Well.
Any bonus actions?
15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to go right there. And my bonus.
Can you throw your Shadow Knife as a bonus action?
No. No, I can retrieve it. Or I can bring it back up as a bonus action.
That's right. Okay.
But it takes an action to throw.
Okay.
But I am
going
to use my rejuvenating.
Okay.
Which is 2 hit dice as a bonus action.
Okay. Go ahead and go to your main tab and roll those. Don't cast them on her. You have her targeted. I mean, if you want to heal her, you go right ahead, but she tried to blow you up, so. Go to your main tab and then roll those.
Oh, man. Oh, that's a little bit better. Alright. And now I'm within 5 feet of hammer.
You are. Yeah, you're touching it. So, Fox, roll 1d6. The healing is low enough, and that I think it's okay that we, allow it for multiple heals per turn. So, all right. So that would bring you down to 7. You are feeling quite a bit better.
I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, wait, inspiration. There we go.
So you send this roiling bolt of chaotic energy towards her, and it sails right past her and ends up kind of smashing against the side of the pillar, and then careening off of that and hitting the far wall instead. And then you run towards the corner and just start bandaging up your wounds. She looks over her shoulder, again badly wounded. You see panic in her eyes, and she is going to I still don't know what that is, Fox.
Oh,
Are
I
they
put a
like-
pic.
I see it. Are they like little forest creatures or something?
Yeah, they're kind of like a forest fae because, like, yeah.
Okay.
If that
Never heard
makes
the
any
word.
sense.
Are they Celtic or
It
something?
is-
The word looks Celtic in origin, so I'm guessing that's what it is.
Leprechauns?
Well, no. I mean, so
I put the link of where I found the name because I looked up for fae from Dungeons and Dragons and it gave me a huge list. That one's number 15 on the list.
okay.
Oh, cool.
Well, okay.
I wanted
so
to find the best one that went with like my plant theme, so
So, I just want to brag here for a second about what a fucking genius I am. I saw that, I've never heard of it before, but Caloran looked vaguely Celtic, and the Celts have a lot of Fey kind of styles and so on. If you go to that link that you just sent, they're Fey deities associated with the Seelie Court and Unseelie Court. Those are 100% Celtic kind of pantheons, essentially, almost. And they worship Cowmane, which is definitely a Celtic word. I'm a fucking genius. You all should be very impressed.
where does it say Celtic though? I'm not fine.
So you can tell first of all the word Cowmane, they who worship Cowmane, you see that, and then Seelie Court and Unseelie Court. If you look those up, those are very common. The Seelie Court and the Unseelie Court are in Celtic mythology where the elves rule. So the Seelie Court are the good guys, the Unseelie Court are the kind of nightmare elves.
That's a big
Yeah.
part of the AOA Reckoning game. Half the Fae are Seelie and half the Fae are Unseelie. The
Yeah.
bad ones are Unseelie, yeah.
All that comes from Celtic mythology, though.
Okay.
I know,
yeah.
like, I was reading something and there was like a Seelie Court, but that was for Fae, not elves. So I guess it depends on
Well, elves-
people use it for a different thing.
Yeah, but elves in Celtic mythology are Fae. They're like the source of Fae. They're like the intelligent creatures of the Fae.
Okay, so elves are
fairies and
technically
stuff like
Fae
that.
in some cultures. Okay.
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
Fae-
well,
Fae
in the
general,
particular.
Sorry.
Okay. Because in the particular book I was reading, I think it was a book. Yeah, it was a book. I think there weren't any elves in it, but there were fae and fairies. So the Seelie Court was associated with fae.
Well, Fae is an umbrella, and the Kirin Tor are Fae. Leprechauns would be Fae. Well, they're called Lurikeen, actually. In Celtic mythology, they're Lurikeen. It just language translations, it became Leprechaun. Furbolg are. There's basically tons of different species, and all of those are technically Fae. Elves are just the kind of the well, Celtic elves are not the like Lord of the Rings style elves. They're not tall and pointy ears. They're short. They're like gnomes. Elves in Celtic mythology are tiny and like live in trees and things like that. Anyway,
Like
Oh,
humans.
it's
yeah, but-
different, yeah.
yeah, I mean they were called elves. That's where they came from, was Celtic mythology. But yeah, it wasn't until Tolkien that elves became these tall, slender, pointed ears, all that stuff. In fact, even Tolkien originally, even in Lord of the Rings, elves were going to be gnomes. He wanted to call them gnomes. Like, he didn't want them to be elves. Like he didn't want to use that word. He changed it later on. Anyway, back to the action here. She looks over her shoulder and, in a panic, is trying to rush away from Norok. Any movement through this space, of course, would be double her movement. But she's going to try to leave your range. You know what? Actually, she's going to do something else first. First, she's going to look at you, Norok, and she's going to reach one hand out and touch your arm, where your arm is kind of already got your sword up, ready to swing at her again. She's going to touch your arm, and you need to make a Wisdom save. You need to beat a 15.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Putting some baked potatoes in the oven. Be ready in just 1 second.
You want me to do it?
You mean roll damage, Becky?
Yeah.
Thanks, Pip.
Sure.
Okay.
Needs to be doing 15 on a
wisdom
wisdom
save?
save. Yeah,
Wisdom?
save. Yep.
Oh.
Oh, baby, no!
So her hand touches your arm, and you look down, and her eyes are just so there's so much sorrow and sadness there that you immediately just realize what the fuck am I doing? And you let it go. The sword drips out, or just clatters between your hands and clatters against the sand on the floor, and. You're all of a sudden sure, like, how did you not recognize her before? This is just one of your very best friends. Like, why would you have hurt her like that? You just feel the weight, the heaviest guilt on your shoulders, and you will be obeying her orders for the next round. Until you can shake it off anyway. And back at the top of the order, the fog has filled up. Okay, so you guys are both out of the way, but both Sarah and Arteme, you guys see that kind of green fog has filled up to basically where you were standing up on that platform. It's basically touching the north part of that pillar. The pillar that you guys is close by you, it's touching that side. So basically, if you stay in here for more than a few more seconds, it's going to fill the rest of this chamber. It is Arteme's turn.
Okay.
You heard a clatter. You can't quite see him because the ceiling is caved in, but you heard a clatter, and you knew, I guess, you knew that the other guy was gone. So you would know, I guess, that was probably Norok. Something happened with Norok. Because he growled like he was going to swing, and then it was quiet, and then you heard a clatter of his sword hitting the floor.
I'm gonna go this
Okay.
go, like grab Sai and then jump across again.
Okay. You're still wounded. Go ahead and roll your d6 for moving through the spirit.
Okay.
We'll nail down the, ignore that. I
wait,
dropped it on the wrong spot.
Wrong one.
Huh?
Oh, okay, hang on. How do I get... I'm gonna undo one of the spell slots. I know I don't have it, but it's because I have the...
If you change in the mode in the bottom left corner, change that to standard, and you'll be able to see it.
Okay, never mind. It doesn't... Okay, yeah, the d6 is fine. I thought I had it used part of my stats too with it, but it doesn't.
Not if you move through it. It'll take your bonus action if you want to move it. Okay, make a athletics check for jumping across. I guess it's closer to 10 than it is to 15, so I'll make it 10 instead. Let's do it like that. Okay. You grab her and just go jumping across the pit there, and it's actually a little bit higher on the far side, so it's a difficult jump for sure. So you end up kind of slamming into the side of it. You've tossed her up over the edge where she kind of jumped off of your arms a little bit, and is kind of staying there and looking at you. Looks very concerned, of course. So just kind of reach down and grabs the edge of your sleeve with her teeth and is trying to pull back, and you kind of pull yourself up on the edge until you're over. Safely.
And then I moved a spirit on this side too. Oops.
Okay.
I'm not trying to do that.
Okay. Is that it for your turn?
Yep.
Okay. It is Norok's turn. You are looking at one of your best friends, and you just have this weight of, why did you hurt her? That was just awful of you. So you reach down and you pick up your sword off of the floor, and you see these people who were hurting her, and you're going to go try to take care of that. You can't have these awful people hurting your best friend, so you're going to try to go around to her, which would be 5, 10. Those will be double, so you can only make it to here. You rush through this kind of heavy sand. You're kind of sinking in up to your ankles, basically, into this sand. That's as far as you can make it. Thankfully, you can't see Sarah through the pillar. The pillar's kind of blocking her, and you can't see Arteme because she's already jumped over the pit. So you can't throw at anybody, but you get to make, now it's the end of your turn, you get to make another wisdom save. Try to beat a 15. Nope, you remain charmed. So it is Sarah's turn. You heard Norok kind of thumping his way very loudly towards you.
Alright. Well, 10, 15, 20, 25. Shitty. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna yell at him and ask him what the hell he's doing. Since, he just walked right on by her.
Make an Arcana check on Sarah. Okay, yeah, with that roll, you see that there's a unnatural look to his eyes. He doesn't look like he's in control of his own mental faculties.
Okay,
but he's looking angry and running your direction. Oh shit, she didn't move. So I didn't move her, I meant to. She charmed him and then didn't use her turn to move, so she's still going to try to actually have moved. So be 10, 20, she makes it as far as here. So she's basically standing right beside him. Would you still have moved to there knowing that
I don't
want
to...
Okay.
No.
But
so
from there, okay. From there you can see her.
Alright, so probably...
What's
that? Alright. We're going to try again. Yes.
That's a much better hit. Yeah, go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh god, wait.
Hang on. Okay, what was the damage type?
The 6 and the 3, right?
Yeah.
So, poison. Let's go with poison.
Okay. Shit, she would have had to roll. Okay, well, I should have made her roll that con save, and I forgot. So she could have been choking from the poisonous gases in the room, too. In fact, actually, Nora would need to make that as well. G, make a con save. Need to beat a 12. You'll have advantage, actually, because it's a gas. So.
Wait, is it a poison gas or fog?
Yeah, it's a poison gas.
Because you said fog earlier.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. I mean, it's a fog that's, a poisonous gas. So, 23. Yeah, you're fine. So you choke it off just fine. But as far as the bolt of poisonous energy that you sent towards Ilishara, she's already badly bleeding and just kind of holding these wounds as she's limping along beside Norok here, kind of trying to use him for as much cover as possible. But you manage to hit her into these kind of open wounds, and it just splashes this acid into it. She looks down and she collapses down to one knee. In the sandy area here, and you see this. Where she falls down to her knees. This kind of wounded historian. There's tears streaming down her face, and she murmurs, "My king," and then her eyes go dim, and her body falls limp face forward into the sand.
Yes. So that means Norik's not charmed anymore, right? Would I know that?
I would say that you would be able to look at him and check. Let me see, actually, because you'd be able to identify. You'd have a moment to react. I guess is how I do that. That was fast, Fox.
Sorry, what was?
She died, basically. Sarah blasted her with poisonous chaotic bolt, and she collapsed down, mumbled "my king," and then fell forward into the sand.
Okay.
I'm looking up a ruling for if Norok is still affected or not.
I would hope
not. Yeah. No, okay. It was an obvious ruling. I shouldn't have even needed to look it up. I just forgot for a second. So when she collapses forward and the kind of light goes out of her eyes, as soon as it's clear that she's bled out enough that she's died, which does take a second. She doesn't die instantly, but it would have been her turn next anyway, so she would have failed her death save at that point. But Norok's eyes kind of shakes his head again, and Norok's eyes seem clear. He is standing inside of this noxious fog that is filling the room here, but she is toast. So there is where she's kind of fallen forward. The fang is still laying in the sand that she's kind of fallen out of her hand. But you are free to move. What are you guys doing? This room has now filled all the way. It is actually, in fact, it's on Sarah as well. So Sarah, you'll need to make a con save. You need to beat a 12.
And I'm going to grab the fang and move out of the gas to the south where the ladies are.
It's all the way out. Okay, so it'll
wait, I have luck.
God damn it.
Yes.
At least you remembered it finally. Okay, so...
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a better roll. Does it work on saves? I think it does, right?
Yeah, it's check
attack,
saves and attack rolls.
So freaking lucky, by the name alone. All right, so you, Norok, you reach down, grab the fang off of it. Sarah, this gas is kind of filled up enough, but you saw it coming. You've thrown thrown part of your cloak around your mouth to protect yourself. We're still gonna remain in order just to see if you guys can get out of here safely. Arteme already jumped over the pit. It is your turn, Fox. What are you doing?
Okay. Can I use the Create Destroy Water to remove the fog. Because it says I could destroy fog.
Oh shit, okay. I didn't realize you could. Let me see here.
Which is why I was asking if it was a fog or an actual gas.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it's a gas, but it's visible. So let's see. Destroying fog in a 30-foot cube. I'd say that when you because it's not intended to counteract a different spell, but this isn't a magical effect; it's a natural effect. So I would say that in this case, if you were to cast it, you do see the at least the visual representation. You're not sure if it's going to get rid of the poison, but I mean, it does dissipate the greenish kind of glowing gas that's filling the space here.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast that where Sarah is to try and do an area around her.
Okay, it's 30 feet, isn't it? 30-foot radius or something?
Yes.
All right, so it gets everybody.
30-foot cube within.
Okay. Okay, so all of you feel that this kind of cool, soothing mist almost just kind of float through the air there, and it's pushing away the glowing green cloud that has been coming up through that pit at the end there. Norok's the only one close enough. Make a perception check on Norok. Yep, not with that. Okay. Yeah, so nothing else. Basically, the place is caving in. You are quite certain this is not going to last much longer. It looks like at least the fog has been kind of pushed away. You're able to breathe a lot better. Art, that was your turn to cast that. You took a bonus action turning for Artemis. Fox?
I think she moved the
Oh my
hammer.
god, okay. Wow. I'm using the spirit to heal Sarah.
Okay.
A spell.
Go ahead and roll a d6. Does that probably has it on there, doesn't it? Let me see.
It does.
Oh,
but
yeah, because you have it marked
but
off.
I can't
okay.
see it. Yeah.
It's annoying. All right.
In standard, I see way too many spells, so trying
Yeah.
to scroll down and find it is a.
Yep. All right. There we go. So the kind of glowing spirit that is still by you, Sarah, again, you feel it kind of healing up. You almost feel normal again. But you are still in this collapsing ruin and in a basement, which is the worst possible place in a collapsing ruin. So you need to get out of here. So what are you doing?
Oh, me? I'm yelling at Norok to throw me because you said the other side was at an incline, right?
It is. It's slightly
So I
higher
probably,
because it was the top of
yeah, I
the
probably
stairs.
won't make that.
Okay. Then if you're passing, actually it's Norok's turn anyway. Sorry. So that was a free action. Then you yell that to Norok. Gee, you shook off the charm effects. You do know that you only have a few seconds left before this kind of blood rage fades, and you're going to be in a lot worse shape because your speed is going to be halved, which means you won't be able to jump anymore. You'll be able to jump at 15 feet maximum. It's half of your movement. So.
Did you go across yet, Bibs?
No, I'm waiting for you to throw me.
Oh, well then I'm gonna fucking
All right.
football
Well,
her.
so here's your choice then. You know, just innately in your own knowing your own physiology, you know that rage is going to fall soon, and as soon as it does, you're going to have one more stack of exhaustion, which means your speed's going to be halved. If you throw her, that's going to take your turn, and your speed's going to be halved. You're going to try to jump this, and you're not going to be able to make it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna run, grab her, and jump. All in
at
one
once?
fell swoop.
Okay.
Yep.
It's going to change.
Because I still have
the
advantage on strength and acrobatics. So.
That's true. You will. Yeah. So all right. It's gonna change the DC. You did pass through the healing spirit though. So Artemis, if you would, one more D6, please. Okay.
Thanks.
A little bit more healing. Go ahead and make your athletics check. Obviously, Sarah, I assume you're not resisting.
Oh, no.
Holding your arms up so we can grab you.
Yeah, well, I
Alright,
was
you-
assuming he was going to kill me, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say that it's almost the same, because you're kind of holding your arms out, being ready, to be picked up. So almost the same. But he comes kind of barreling through there, as running as fast as he can, and he's, head's almost scraping the ceiling anyways, and just reaches an arm down and just kind of throws it around your midsection, and kind of brings you in front of himself, almost like, as if he was going to shield himself using you, and goes flying over the edge of this. G, your left foot lands on the edge of the platform there, and you feel it begin to crack and crumble beneath you. You throw your left hand out, because you've still got her in your right arm. You throw your left hand out and just barely grab onto the edge as you start to slip back off of it, and you're now holding with just your left elbow and your forearm up on the ledge there, holding Sarah in your right arm. What are you doing?
Still on the close side? Did I fall or did I make it to you?
You're on the far side. You're on the good side, but you're hanging off the edge.
How far is she to the ground? I mean, she's gonna die if I drop her.
It's 18 feet down. She's going to be pretty badly hurt.
Alright,
I mean,
I'm
it sloped a
gonna
little
see if I
bit,
can pick her up. If I have enough strength to get her hands to the side, if she can grab on, and then I can take care of myself after that.
Alright, make another athletics check. You know what, I'd say do it with advantage, because Sarah, you presumably would be trying to crawl up Norok anyways.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
like, could I use like an acrobatics to try and get up there?
Well, he rolled a natural 20 anyway, so I would say that between him kind of just lifting you up as much as he can, and you just kind of grabbing the edge, you just pull yourself up nimbly, like there's no difficulty for you. Norok, you're still hanging off the edge, and your rage has fallen. So you now have 2 levels of exhaustion. And you're hanging off the edge. What are you doing?
See if I can climb up.
Okay, go ahead and make one more athletics for your pulling yourself up.
I
Hang
probably
on,
won't
you
be
said
much
that
help,
it
but
was-
can I pull him?
What was that, Fox?
Can I create water within the hole? That way he's like floating on the water?
How quickly could you fill an 18 foot by 12 foot by 5 foot?
I don't know. I create 10 gallons of water.
That's not anywhere near enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 gallons would be
Nice.
two buckets. Like his feet might get slightly damp. That's at best. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. If it was enough water, that would be a good idea. If it happened fast enough. All right. What was Sarah? You said something.
I said I probably won't be much help, but can I try to like help pull him up?
So-
All your 90 pounds.
yeah. You reach down and grab one thumb and try to yank on that thumb.
Or at
Just to see if you-
or at least like tie a rope around his like arm and like pull.
I could always use my thorn whip without thorn. Just pull him out.
You'd still have to hurt him to do it, but that would presumably work if you hit him with it.
Okay.
Gee, your roll, like you didn't slip any further, but you rolled an 8. You actually rolled a 2 plus 6 is 8. So you did not make it enough. Sarah is out of the way. You've made it over here, so if you moved. Are you... Okay. And it hits. Alright, so... What's that, Fox?
I said, hit.
Yeah, it did. It hit. So you, Norok, you see Arteme yank you've seen it a few times now, but a short twig of the stem of a rose, all dried and bristling in the thorns and everything, and she sends it out in your direction. You see it kind of elongate and wrap around your arm that is exposed, that is up here on the side, and it bites in, but I mean, you just kind of grit your teeth and try to ignore it as she yanks you up over the side. Go and roll your damage.
I also move the spirit closer to him and kill him with it. That's it. I can't.
like an apology for pulling him up over the side?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll the damage and then roll the d6. What, Fox? Alright.
Not bad.
Well, the 2 was damage, so... Oh, that was a thorn wood, okay. So it actually healed for more than the damage it did, so...
Thank you.
Alright, so you are kind of yanked up over the edge, and you're now standing on this, and the whole place is shaking around you. Like, you can almost barely stand still, because the walls are just constantly reverberating. There's... All 3 of you... Norok did not quite notice it earlier, but you were all hearing a groaning and like a man's voice chanting coming from behind you. There's a bestial groaning sound and a man's voice chanting that's coming from presumably from that pit behind you. But this whole place is about to come down around your ears. What are you guys doing?
Make a run for it.
Mm-hmm.
Front doors.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
You go ahead, Fox.
Maybe we should destroy that other pillar just to collapse this part.
Yeah, the middle of
I
it's
don't
caved
know.
in, and the far pillar is still kind of partially there, but I mean, if you can hit it with something hard enough, you might be able to.
Right there, I can reach that, right? How far is
Yeah,
that?
you can see the base of the pillar. The first
30?
probably 2-3 feet of it.
Oh shoot, I don't have any second level spells left. Never mind, I was gonna use Shatter.
The shatter would have been perfect.
Dang it.
You
You
almost
get another
accidentally brought the
spell
other side down. Do you have... You used 2 sorcery points to... What did you use them to do?
To give me a first level slot.
Oh, that's right, okay. Yeah, so you only have 1 point left. Yeah, you can't... That's
No.
not enough to get you another spell slot.
I mean, I could Chaos Bolt it, but I don't know that that would do enough damage.
Well, I mean, depending on what you roll, if it was thunder damage or force damage, it might be enough. Because it's vulnerable to that, so...
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. It still has, I mean, objects have stats, even if you hit them with a, a damage that it doesn't necessarily... It does hit, so go ahead and roll your damage. Let's see what types they are. 3 and a 1. What'd you get?
Oh, fire and acid. So let's try some acid.
Okay.
Burn through
Can-
it.
What's that?
Can I shoot an arrow with her attack? That way there, like, it won't do much.
It won't change the spell. It won't really do anything different there, but I mean, you guys hitting this thing could presumably, if you hit it enough times, break it. But where you
Okay.
see that the acid splash against the base of it, it does kind of eat a little bit of it away. It's not. It's maybe a third damaged, not a lot of the way through the pillar. Thankfully, this place was already
Well,
cracked and
I've
broken enough. But what's that?
I've got one more first level, so I can try again.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right, let's try the damage. Let's see what damage types you get. All right, so you got double 8s.
8,
What's 8?
and that's thunder damage.
Alright. So, because it's vulnerable, and you had a crit, which is already 34, it's vulnerable, which means it takes double damage from that damage type. The ball that you send out towards it isn't even cohesive. It just looks like it's kind of almost like wind that sails towards it until it hits the base of this thing, and it erupts like a cacophonous explosion, just shattering the base of this pillar out. You see the bottom of it blow out like a tree that's being felled, and the pillar begins to tip over, where it's not attached to the ceiling anymore from all over the cracks. But where it tips over, you guys are just immediately covered in just this tidal wave of dust and noise that comes just booming out through this hallway towards you, and you can't see anything. It's just dark and dust filled in all of that direction. Basically, from the base of the stairs that are covered in sand already, you can't see anything anymore. All the light is out of there. The light you brought yourselves with you, you can see that, but it's basically just caved in. That doorway is completely filled with rubble.
Are we running?
Yeah.
That was a really lucky roll there. Not only did you get the damage type you want, but it was a freaking crit too. All right, you guys book it out of the. You get heading out the front door. You left them wide open.
Yeah, it's
so. Okay.
probably the closest.
All right, so you rush your way out of the front doors there. You see just after the steps where it's just sand. You see these wide swaths of the sand where it's been pushed away, where a serpentine form had moved through. Actually, at least 2 from what you can see. But you are outside of the temple, and the noise kind of around you. It's still loud inside. You can still hear kind of booming in from there. But you are outside in the beaming hot sun. It is now somewhere around 4:15 in the afternoon. But you are outside, presumably at least safer than you had been previously. What are you guys doing?
Are we able to make it back to that oasis?
I mean,
Like, is it-
you know basically where it was, so I mean, you could presumably make your way there.
I just meant, like, is it really far?
No, it was half of a day, so I mean, you'd be there probably by evening time.
That
And
sounds
especially
good.
with Artemis' healing spirit still up, you guys could, kind of just hang out next to it for a minute, enough to get your HPs back if that's what you chose to do.
Yes.
Fox, it lasts for 1 minute. I would say that it's probably just near the end of the minute by now. So, I mean, I would say that it's enough. Go ahead and roll 3d6, each of you. Actually, Fox, you roll 3d6, and we're going to apply that to everybody. That's decent rolls. All right, so Artemis, you are almost to full health. Norok and Sarah, you guys are fully healed. Norok, though, you are dead fucking tired. Your movement speed is now 15. Are you 30, right? Your movement speed is normally 30?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are bone dead tired and moving at half speed. So you are outside and safe. You are, largely healed up and about as, in good shape as you can be. You guys did burn your resources pretty much, so it looks like Fox only has a couple first level slots left. But
and I use Goodberry that we have because we haven't.
You have not eaten today.
That was
actually.
a huge
So,
fight.
I mean, you had
yes.
enough, yeah. So, okay, that's enough to feed both of you or feed all of you guys for today. They do expire after a day, so you would need to presumably cast it again the following day. But you do, have something to kind of chew on as you begin this long walk, this trudge back towards the oasis, which is going to take you. You guys left early enough in the morning. It was 2, I think, by the time you got here. So, I mean, we'll say that you guys can make it there, but it's going to be probably near midnight by the time you guys make it all the way to the oasis, if that's where you guys are going. Is that the plan?
Yep.
Okay. I would say Norik's probably not in the best shape to do this. He, basically, who's going to lead the way to make that survival check?
I.
Okay, go ahead. Norik has proficiency with survival, but with the... Up to you,
So
G.
do I.
Yeah, you both do. Sarah doesn't.
I
Well,
misrolled really bad.
Yeah, you'll
Well,
have disadvantage, but you could... I mean, would Norok be of a mind enough to try to say, no, I'm pretty sure it's this direction?
No, I actually probably would have just been following the ladies because, pretty tired by now, so that would be metagaming if I tried.
Okay. That's why I was asking, like, if you feel like Norok would be,
No, I think he
mentally
would
there, conscious enough to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then you guys are meandering your way through the desert trying to find this kind of path, but you notice very, very very early on, that the trail you had made of your own footfalls has already been blown over by the sand. You've only been inside there for 2 hours, but the sand has already largely erased your footprints. Your way there, where you expected that you should be, you should have been there by now. The sun has already long gone down, but you are not at the oasis. You feel like you should be. You've kind of gone, the direction that you were certain, Artemis, you were certain that it was here, but it's not there. You are basically, it's very late. It's probably 11:30 by now, and you've made it to where you thought it should be, and it's not there. Make a perception check, all three of you. Okay. You, in looking around, Artemis, you're a little disappointed, in yourself that you were sure that it was here. Like, did it move somehow? You do, you've had a couple of different people tell you that things in the desert have been moving, that the sands are shifting somehow. So,
Yeah.
did it move? Like, what happened? Why is the oasis not here? Because you're almost dead certain that it should be here.
Yeah, because I would have been drawing a map as we went. So.
But there's not a lot of, as much as you have, what's the word I'm looking for, like landmarks, essentially, in a desert, especially when the dunes move too, that's really easy to get kind of turned around. But you're still, you're pretty sure that it was here, and it's just not here. And as you're kind of beginning to preparing yourself to stop and, look back at your companions and say, fuck, let's just set up camp here because I can't find it. Maybe we'll find it in the morning or something like that. As soon as you're about to do that, you see a pair of glowing eyes in the distance, just over the dunes looking at you. And then as you notice it, as you're looking at, you see two more pop up on either side. So there's now 3 pairs of glowing eyes that are looking at you in the distance. And in the silhouette, you can see they look short and stout, almost. You're pretty sure they're hyenas. And as you've kind of figured that out, 2 more pop on either side. There's 5 of them now standing there. What are you doing? They've stopped and are staring right at you. Okay.
Okay. I point them out to Norok and Sarah.
Okay. And as you guys you've stopped in place and are kind of seeing this, more keep appearing on the edge of this, over the edge of this dune, until there's a total of 12 of them. You see a dozen of these hyenas that are staring down at you. And the... So right now, in fact, the moons that are out, it's waning gigas, waxing. You have 3 crescent moons, as well as the ring of interest. So you have the ring, the shattered moon, the ring that's left over from that. There's a decent amount of ambient light between that and the stars. Not a ton. Would you guys be, would you have light? Would you have casted light or your dancing lights or anything like that, or would you just be using the starlight?
If there's enough starlight, I wouldn't see a reason to cast.
Yeah, Sarah can see in the dark, so she wouldn't need it. Norok, between Norok and Arteme, there's probably enough ambient light that you don't need it without necessarily drawing attention to yourselves. So if you don't think you would have, used any artificial light sources, yeah, it looks like there's basically a dozen hyenas that are staring at you. That you're just barely catching like a gleam in the eyes is the look that you're getting. And they started walking towards you. They're coming down over the slope of this dune towards you. Not running, they're moving at a kind of a meandering slow pace towards you.
Alright, well, I guess we've already been spotted, so I'm going to yell and scream and make myself as loud as possible. See, change in lighting a little bit.
Okay.
I know I'm just one person, but still.
You're large enough, anyways, that that would probably work, or at least I would give you a chance for that to work. Yeah, in a normal circumstance. Make an Arcana check on Sarah.
Oh no.
They're closer now. They're quite a bit closer. Make an Arcana check on Sarah, and then Norok and Arteme make perception checks.
Ooh. Oh, are they what I think they are?
Poor Norok. Fucking natural 1 on that. You rolled. You had an 8, which wouldn't have been enough anyways, and then a natural 1 with disadvantage is a 1. So Norok is not able to pick out much. Like he's just dead fucking tired and needs a nap. But Sarah, in looking at it, there's a very strong smell of spice in the air. Go ahead and make a history check on Sarah as well. But you already know you already have an idea of what this is that you're seeing, and we'll get to that in a second. Specifically because of the smell, between the smell and the glow that is coming off of these things, you know what this is, and you're aware of that. You haven't had a time to react to that yet. Arteme, though, now that they've gotten closer, you rolled a natural 20. They've gotten closer, and their eyes seemed glowy, but like meaning that you thought you were seeing a reflection off of eyes like you would normally if you saw an animal in the starlight, that kind of thing. But now that they've gotten closer, you can see they don't have eyes. The eye sockets are empty, and they're all approaching you in lockstep. They're all kind of walking at equal pace, kind of making their way towards you. Sarah, in looking at these, just from history books and so on, you've never met one before. But you recognize that in the descriptions you've always heard that there is always a strong smell of spice in the air when you see, or these creatures, well, this creature rather emits this. This is not 12 creatures, it is one. It's one specific creature. And as it approaches, and Norok is kind of waving his arms and yelling at it, all 3 of you here, there will be no need for that. Are you lost, travelers?
Yes.
You all notice, of course, that none of their mouths are moving or anything of that sort. But the response that you all hear just coming from this group, as if this group was one person that was speaking to you, you would presumably see a mouth move, but none of these 12's mouths are moving, and you're hearing one voice. Not like 12 people talking or anything like that, just one voice. And it says, "The Sandsea is not a safe place at the best of times, let alone while Adawa sits the throne." What are you doing here?
I'd look around to try and figure out where the sound is coming from.
You can, not even a roll needed for it. It's coming from these hyenas.
Okay, so they're kind of speaking in our minds or speaking out loud?
No, it's you're hearing it. It's a real sound. Anybody else that was nearby would also hear it. Sarah, you know from reading what these are. Norok and Artemis, you can't act on this information, but I'm going to share it to all three of you. It's a specific kind of a shapeshifter called a trace or a craze that's able to take on, is often stuck in the forms of multiple creatures, like a pack of wolves or a dozen rats, things like that. Usually creatures that are social anyways and would often be indistinguishable unless they choose to identify themselves. But this group of this person has walked up to you and saying this. Asked you if you were lost, and then says this is not the safest place while Adawa sits the throne. You haven't replied to that, so are you guys saying anything to him? He's kind of looking. The heads of the hyenas kind of all tilt to the side a little bit as if they're quizzically asking you a question. You haven't replied.
Okay, so knowing what they are, would I know like if they're
what he is? It's one person. It's a male's voice. What's that?
Would I know like if he's would normally be aggressive or?
I would say that you've read enough to understand that they are certainly very dangerous and very powerful, but they're not prone towards either end of the aggression scale. They're not made more aggressive because they're a shapeshifter of this sort. Sometimes they're stuck in these forms, and you know that, and that there's usually they sound frustrated. Like that's I guess if anything, if there was any emotional state that had been attributed to the craze, that they're usually frustrated and angry, but not necessarily threatening or aggressive or any more than any random person might be.
Okay, well then I guess just tell them we're trying to find the oasis so we can rest, and then we're trying to make our way towards Mist.
They chuckle. All of them, all of the individuals, or all of the hyenas, have the kind of hyena laugh. And he says, "That's not a good idea." He says, "As we speak, there's a caravan of refugees that are being marched to their deaths just north of us."
What do you mean?
I don't know that
marched
you can
to
make it
their
to
death?
Mist. He kind of quizzically looks at you again. He says, "You're not from here, are you?" I mean,
No,
I suppose
but
I can
we were
tell
in
by
that
the skin.
caravan.
But you were in the caravan and you got out?
A big giant group of people, thousands big.
He says, "Yeah, I've been watching them for days. I haven't seen people escape. They've left a trail of bodies behind them, but I haven't seen anybody get out. I would have expected to notice, but..."
We had help getting out, but some of our friends are still in there. So, what do you mean they're going to their death?
He says, "I've known many cons in my time, and Adawa's is certainly among the worst." He says, I don't expect those refugees will be allowed to leave the Dominus, despite the promises of his soldiers.
Right.
He says,
and
if you're
do
seeking the
know
oasis, though... What's that?
I was thinking, do you know where they are?
You're asking where the caravan is?
Yeah.
He said it's just north of here. It's a couple days north. And he said, if you're seeking the oasis and you see all of them in unison kind of lift their snouts up in the air and start sniffing the air, and he says it's just that way, just over that dune. You were almost there.
Okay. You guys want to go rest and then try to hurry up back to the caravan?
Okay.
When you say that, you kind of, Sarah, you talking to Norok, and you say that, you kind of see the emotion from them again, and you kind of look over, and all of them like shrugged almost in unison. He says, "Your deaths, if that's what you guys want to do. I certainly am not that brave."
Would you be willing to lead us back to the caravan? You don't have to stay and help, but just lead us back there after we rest?
I mean, I guess I could. I mean, what's in it for me?
I don't think I have anything.
He says, I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty hungry. If you've got some spare food, maybe we could call it a deal. feed me for a couple of days for that walk?
Well, we're out of rations, but if we rest, Artemis would have Goodberry again.
We could
Well,
look
I
around.
still have some left from when I made some earlier.
Yeah, it makes 10, I think. And you guys only ate
Yeah.
3. But when you say,
4, I would have eaten one too.
oh yeah, yes, I would have had one too.
So I leave 6 left.
Yeah, but when you say berry, all of them in unison stick their tongues out like a kind of a like berries. They're carnivores. Berries don't sound very good to them.
Well,
he says,
wanna
you know,
help Artemis?
he says, you know, I don't know if a 2-day walk is in it for me. If it's berries, I could probably hunt better around here. If you got something better, you know, I might be willing. I'm not averse to helping you out. You seem like nice folks and all, but you know, I was kind of going the other direction.
I tilt my head to the side and say, well, there's berries for tonight, but I could get almost anything from the desert tomorrow.
You do. So he was probably heading towards the oasis based on the direction that he came from. He told you it's that way, and he came down over a dune that's kind of the direction he was heading. You, of course, would know for sure, just, you know, in some familiarity with nature. And not only that, but even the first time you guys came to the oasis, there were prey animals there. Those addicts were all over, and that's, you know, that's what a desert predator is going to eat. Those are deer, essentially, or antelope. So anyways, that's probably what he's after. He says, I mean, if you're any good with that bow, he says, you know, the bow's slung over your shoulder. He says, you could probably help me take down 1 or 2, and then I can eat my fill. Who's better than 1 would you say?
Sure.
You've got super robotic, it might be my side Fox. It's network though, it's not your configuration or anything. But either way, I heard you say sure. So he says, all right, well, I mean, if you guys are willing to do that, I suppose I can, you know, just rest up and, you know, we'll make the journey north. I assume you guys have, you know, means of storing water. I kind of, you know, I lack opposable thumbs, so carrying water is kind of difficult for me. So if you guys don't mind, you know, giving me some water along the trip as well, I guess I can take it back up there.
Yeah, I picked up actually one too.
Yeah, everybody's super robotic all of a sudden, so it's probably my side of the network. But it's okay, we're about done anyways. But I could still understand that you just sounds like a robot. So, are you? Yeah, it's probably just my side. I've got kids streaming stuff on tablets and TV and things like that. So, anyway, but you guys, you know, agreeing to do that, is there anything else you needed to do, or are you guys just heading off to the oasis and we'll just call it, you know, for tonight?
Do we need to go trash back?
Yeah.
I couldn't understand that. What was that you said?
I was saying, do we need to go to the magic items and anything? I don't remember.
That dagger.
Yeah, the dagger's the last thing. Okay, so you go ahead and make an Arcana check, Costera. You pulled the dagger out of your bag, the one that you got from Vilchara's stuff. You pull it out. You kind of hold the stone against it, and taking the quill in your right hand, you start kind of writing in open air, and have revealed in looking it over that. I'll go ahead and here. I'll just here we go. I'll identify it and I'll drop it in the chat for you so you can see what it does. What am I looking now? There you go. You have to finish it. It takes 4 hours for you to do that, so you can do it until the night when you finish your crayons. I would say go ahead and make a survival check on Artemis as well, just for hunting to feed. You didn't ask him his name. I'd say that while you guys were walking, he says, "Well, you know, you guys don't seem the politest of folks, but my name is Dejin. What's your name?"
Oh, no,
Sarah.
So you guys introduce yourselves anyways. Sarah, you don't manage to bring down any of the addicts, but there were 2 very fat desert birds that were up in one of the branches that had been eating probably coconut, things like that, broken coconuts. You managed to take both of those down, which is enough for him. He's still pretty satisfied with that after he's kind of torn them apart. He doesn't see all of it, so if you're going to have anything beyond good berries for yourselves, you're going to have to do a little more hunting. But otherwise, you've made it to the oasis and have kind of been able to prepare yourselves for the evening, anyways. Do anything else for the night? You guys just resting?
Well, I hunted a bit more just so we have something to eat. And then...
But as far as the night, though, anybody doing anything else?
Let's get out of as much water as we can.
That presumably will take you in the morning. You guys have been bringing days with the water since you were last year. But anything else for the evening, or as far as the night?
Yeah, I was going through the book I had about all the left side like the
on the floor. Yes.
Yeah, and then I'm looking for any that could be useful for Sarah, and then see if I could find a bit more because the size just still seems a bit off.
Some more shade root.
Yeah.
Sure. You don't see any more shade root nearby. In fact, the first time you were here, she found it and already ate it all. It hasn't grown. That was only last night. Basically, you were here last night. You went over to the temple, took a half a day to get there. You went through the temple for a couple hours, and took another half a day to get back here. So it doesn't not time to regrow, of course, yet. This isn't like getting at all. But I mean, even still, you look around. The desert flora doesn't usually. Let's say the environment of the desert isn't conducive to void root specifically. Void root grows in wet, damp caves, in subterranean caves that are river caves, water caves, things like sea caves, things like that. Actually, not salt water, so it has to be fresh water, so not the sea. Anyways, in damp caves is generally where you'd find it. And just the environment here doesn't quite suit that. Even looking through, though, there are places in there you hadn't really heard of or weren't super familiar with. You read pretty thoroughly over all of them. And there doesn't appear to be I don't know what check it would be. I don't know that it would do much good. Basically, the plant life here doesn't really seem conducive to what you're aiming for specifically for void root. It doesn't mean that there couldn't be, but not necessarily what's written in this. In this treatise.
And I think I had this. I was looking there was some kind of spell that I can make stuff grow.
Druidcraft?
Yeah.
Growth. Well, plant growth and druidcraft both. I think plant growth you don't have yet, though. I think you can get that at next level, I think. I'm pretty sure it's plant growth.
Yeah.
Druidcraft is a cantrip. You wouldn't be able to make usable plants as far as making a safe root or something like that. That's really for making small trinkets out of wood and that kind of stuff for flowers, etc.
I was reading, so I was messing with yes, there's a lot I was thinking.
Yeah, plant growth, you can grow plants. You can take a whole area and make the plants there much healthier environment and
Yeah, and depending how long it might take, it would last for a year or just a small amount of time. Okay, it's I don't have it.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay, or is it still super robotic?
You sound right.
Okay, you guys still sound like robots to me, but I can still hear you for the most part, so... Alright, so...
there's crackling and stuff.
Yeah, it's like static over is what it sounds like. Okay. Alright, Sarah, Fox, Becky, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I actually have a couple questions. So if I miss such a target, I have to make a saving throw, right? Right, I have to do it every time I throw it.
Oh, for
the dagger.
Oh, shit, sorry, on the dagger. Okay. It was only because you rolled high enough that you got that. It was actually 15 was the cutoff. So for the that particular effect of it is basically whether you hit or not. Anytime you try to make an attack, if that curse is not removed, if you try to attack something, you have to beat a DC 14.
Okay. Now, what question? I also have Brave, which gives me advantage on saving throws against being frightened. So I get advantage on all of them?
Yes, that would work, yes.
Okay. But I can't remove the curse?
I would say that innately are familiar a little bit. Now, again, they're not common. You guys just have been reading, Egyptian-style tombs where stuff is cursed. Curses generally are not very common, of that sort, anyways. curses on people a little more common. Curses on objects far less so. But anyways, you are definitely familiar with curses, and that's kind of a somewhat common trope in fairy tales that you'd read as a kid and things like that. But I mean, it is something you are familiar with is happening in the world, that objects can be decursed. It's essentially, in most cases, it's an object that has just sat in a really bad place for a long time with a lot of negative energy that is attached to it over time, and that just kind of needs to be cleansed or cleansed rather, essentially. Rarely is it an intentional act. Okay. So now, as far as the camp, though, the regime here is resting. All of them are just kind of, although the hyenas are just kind of sleeping near the shore. They don't appear to be concerned at all with anything in the desert. You guys, set up watch, and there's been a lot of dangerous creatures in the desert. You guys have been, concerned with making sure you don't come across. But you guys, in your rest heat, it's nothing to be bothered at all. What is your watch order? I assume Fox was going first since she was wanting to switch out the spell. So Fox went ahead, and then what's your order after that?
I'll go so second, so that way Nora can get a good rest.
Okay. I would say that, well, Nora and Sarah would be sleeping at the same time, and then Nora would wake up afterwards, so Nora could get the rest in. So do you lose one level of exhaustion with each rest, or do you lose all exhaustion with each rest?
No, just one level with each long rest. That's why I took that one.
Yeah, okay. Alright, let's take one off then. I mean, it was probably necessary, because that was the difference between you guys killing her fast enough or not, because if you had stayed in there longer, that poison would have gotten more risky, the place was going to keep caving in, etc. So it worked out. You're going to be a little tired for a couple of days. Anyway, though, in the middle of the night, Norwalk and Artemis are resting. Sarah, you wake up, and the regime is asleep. Basically nothing is moving. It is dead quiet here. Just the sound of wind over the dunes. And you look up, and almost, at first it's almost like seriously, when you look up, like you almost have this reaction of one that you almost just saw this, because you see the horizon broken. You're seeing dunes, and then above that is just this kind of dark night sky. And somehow there's a shape that is sitting on the horizon on these dunes that is silhouetted against this dark sky that is somehow darker even, and it resembles just a massive chunk of something, a huge creature, animal, the size of maybe a moose or a big car. You can't quite make out the shape, but you're pretty sure it's a dog. It's a giant hound, and it's just sitting there staring at you.
And I'm assuming that's what makes me giving me that weird feeling the last few days.
You get that impression from it, yeah. That's what you feel like this was the source of that, or at least, that's a good question. Make a intelligence check, just on Sarah. The feeling coming off this one is just ever so slightly different. You feel like the 3 nights that you've been visited by these things now, each of them have felt ever so slightly different.
And how far away is this thing?
60 feet up, away from you, at the edge of the oasis has kind of a big open area, and then the dunes kind of resume around it. And it's kind of it's far enough towards around the bend of the oasis, basically the other side, and then up on top of the dune. And it's just sitting there, sitting down on its haunches. It's not standing. It's just sitting there, like resting, just staring at you.
Right. So I'm just gonna walk to the bottom of it. I'm not gonna go up it. I'm just gonna walk there and just stand in the dune, see what that does.
The moment that you stand up, you're kind of sitting near the I don't know if you set a fire or not, but your guys' camp. The moment you kind of undo your legs, you're maybe sitting cross-legged or something like that, and begin to stand, keeping your eyes up the whole time, it stands itself back up on its 4 legs and kind of turns its head and turns away and starts walking down over the other side of the dune, out of your sight.
Alright, I'll walk up to the top to it as soon as I can see it.
It takes you a minute to walk all the way there, but you look down over the dune, and as soon as you step your way up towards the top of it, there are no footprints. And you look down, there's nothing there, and there's no trail.
Alright, I don't see anything else.
Nope. Looking all the way around, you see the normal, life down here. In fact, you see another pack of hyenas off in the distance. It's only 4 of them. But they're far away, not paying you guys any attention.
Alright, well, I guess I would go back to camp and sit down and just keep an eye on everything.
Okay. When you get back to camp, I would say this is where we're going to end, just because it's time anyways. But you kind of, make your way back over to the camp. The feeling of being watched did go away when this thing moved away. So you don't feel that unease anymore. But it is getting nearer to dawn anyways. You're not necessarily sure if it was just that or just that, the sun is coming soon and maybe it was leaving you alone for that reason. But you make your way down back towards the camp, and you see as you kind of approach back towards, hush! Sorry, you get back towards the camp there. When you approach Artemay, you look down and see that Sai is laying there next to her, and it almost doesn't look like Sai is breathing.
Right, so I'll wake up from Artemay.
Okay. We'll go ahead and stop here anyways, but I'll tell you that you, I'd say almost, like you, even looking, you can see that there's just, it's barely, she doesn't look like, she's still alive, she just doesn't look like she's doing very good. But we'll go ahead and call it there, and then we'll pick up next week. Everybody good for, let's see, what does the calendar look like?
It's 10. No,